Let's go. If you just let go.
Did you and Trey Songz ever get cool again?
Man, you know, I've not talked to that guy. You know, I have not spoken to that guy.
Is it a misunderstanding?
Like, because you accused him of sexual intimidation last
You know,
year.
it wasn't a misunderstanding.
She told her story of what
I tell my truth, and you know, I just thought it was real interesting that after all those things went down, you know, someone else had something to say. So it wasn't like I don't like when people think that somebody is just gonna be saying something just to say it. First of all, I love black people. I love my people. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna try to ever tear nobody down, try to tear no black man down. That's not who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what I stand for. That's not what I'm about. So if I say something, I'm saying something for a reason. And I feel like so many times black women say stuff and nobody gives a shit. Excuse my language. Nobody gives a fuck when sometimes black women say something. But somebody of another complexion, somebody of another color, they say something. And then it's like, we're taking it to court. It's time to get serious. Hashtag me too.
Damn, that's a pretty valid point.
Reverb Experiment episode number 46?
Yes.
Yes.
46.
Bro, we was stuck for a minute.
Hey, I had to go back and check the show notes. I was like, episode. Okay, bet, got it.
Episode 46. You guys already know what it is. G_focus, Steph.net, Photo B on the mic.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those episodes. You already saw how we starting off.
Violence.
You guys already know I'm in my bag today.
With the heat.
I'm in my bag today. So we started off. We're gonna just get right on into it.
Pretty much.
Thank y'all for listening. We appreciate you. Like, subscribe, help us with the algorithm, all that shit.
Yeah.
All right, we in the bag today.
Yeah.
We talking about it.
We gonna talk about it. So, I'm sorry. Dang, I gotta tell y'all what we talking about first before we get into it. So look, Trey Songz, sexual assault, coming over at 1:00 in the morning, kicking people out with Ubers. We gonna talk about that. Rich Porter and Journe, the Drader, that was going around the internet for the Keepin It Real segment. And for the internet wins again, we going to talk about Envy, DJ Envy, and his wife faking orgasms. So y'all need to keep around and listen to the pod. All right, we're going to get into it because we're going to start it with some violence, man. This has been brewing for a while. We talked about it multiple times. And obviously Kiki told us back in 2017.
And as she said, when black women say something, don't nobody listen.
So we're going to just start off with that. First of all, for y'all that's listening right now, we're going to talk about Trey Songz' new sexual assault allegation. It's not even allegation. There's a video going around back in 2013 in August where he was at an event. Mm-hmm. He came up behind a white woman. Her name is Megan Johnson. He pulled out her titty and said, "Titties in the wild," or "Titties are out." I don't know what the exact quote is. Excuse me. Titties in the open. Excuse me. 4 different times is what was alleged. And in the video, she's laughing. People are thinking that she's laughing because she's going along with it. And most people are pointing out that she's laughing because she was embarrassed and she was uncomfortable. So she is taking him to court, suing him or demanding $5 million in the suit. I believe it is a civil suit. Because of the sexual assault, sexual misconduct, however you want to classify it. So we're going to talk about it here because we talk about everything that's in regards to black culture. Trey Songz is obviously a big icon amongst black culture, and obviously sexual assault and sexual misconduct, all of that, consent is a taboo conversation that most people are unwilling to have in our community, but we're not going to shy away from it. So I'm going to just ask the hardball question all right now. Do we take sexual assault differently or more? There's a more credence to it when there is a white woman saying that she was assaulted rather than a black woman.
I don't, but I think the general public, yeah. Because again, like you said, 2017, Kiki said something, and people was just kind of like, "Oh, she trying to tear down a black man," or "Oh, she trying to," like, people just really couldn't wrap their mind around it. And I don't think that happens not just because of celebrity. I think, a lot of people admire Trey Songz, so a lot of people don't want to believe that about their favorite celebrities and stuff like that. But I feel like even in the community, you know what I mean? If somebody that's well known, or just, it ain't even got to be well known. It's about being believed, and the person or the man that people believe someone is, when that's questioned,
Right.
a lot of people really just like,
It's
I don't want to believe that about that person.
it's more on like that person doesn't need to do that.
Right.
That don't make no sense.
Why
That
would
person
you have to
he
do
ain't gotta
that?
go that far to go all that. You know, he can get it wherever he want to. Yeah, nah.
But we talked about it being Trey Songz or being a big, figure comes entitlement of you assume everybody wants that type of attention from you. And that's not the case. Like you can't just do what you want to do. Everybody doesn't want to have sex with you. Everybody doesn't want, you know what I mean? I think that's the part that people have to realize. It's not like, yeah, they could get anybody, but does that person actually want them?
Right. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. And I think people also got to understand that when you are used to getting it all the time, that for men, most men, the excitement is also in the chase. So you want the woman that doesn't want you sometimes. You know what I mean? Or like, we all grew up in the late 90s, early 2000s, right? Most of us that grew up in that 90s era, most of the shows, the whole predicate on the show were getting the woman.
Yeah.
Right? So you had Steve Urkel with Family Matters, right? Wearing her down.
Knowing that she don't want you.
Right.
Ben
but
said
then
it.
towards the end, then she wanted him and saw that he was a good guy, whatever. There's multiple sitcoms that you can say the same exact thing, where it was man pursues his crush denies him at the front, and then at the end, then he convinces her that he's the one for her. And obviously those are different contexts, but what I'm saying is that there are some men that have a sick perception of pursuing women as hearing no and then thinking that it's a challenge after that.
I mean, look at some of these inboxes.
I mean, well, yeah, but at the same time, too, to your point about the sitcoms, it wasn't just the sitcoms. It was like almost any show that we watched. It was he wants the girl don't want him. He starts to change up. Certain things end up happening. He starts showing her more things, and she finally gives him a chance, and it works out, right? So not only do we, portray from media, that's damn near what we were taught.
Yeah.
From the generation before us was to, I showed up at a job every day, or I pulled up on it. I was persistent, right? And it ended up working, right? Nobody realized it was because there was nothing else going on. Nobody realized it was because there was no other options. It was because she was just kind of just over it. It's like, fine, I'll give him a chance. It was like he finally did it. He did it. That's how it's supposed to go. So of course, now that we got all these images and these ideas of how we're supposed to, get women.
I think you have to actually include that there are some women that like to be chased and like to be pursued as well. Like we can't leave that part out of it.
Right.
It's some women that like that attention from men. Like he's still calling. Some women do like that. So you can't.
Yeah, and for those listening, I don't want to equivalate sexual assault with pursuing.
Right.
We're just saying that message could be what am I trying to say?
It could translate to people.
I don't even want to say that it could be perverted.
Yeah.
Into the realm where you can see where sexual assault can be, because I think people think that it's inconceivable that somebody of his stature could do that.
But for what you said, as far as like the pursuing and how it could be perverted to that, it can, because with sexual coercion, like you try something with somebody sexually and they don't respond to it, and you think, let me try to get her in the booth, let me keep on, like that persistence, like that first no need to be the last one.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah,
it does.
and I think as a culture, let's just be honest, we're grappling with transitioning from that message to that no means no.
Right.
Because it's sometimes mixed message. And there are women that there are women that I've dated where I've heard no and I've stopped pursuing. And then they were like, oh, well, if you really wanted me, then you would find a way.
And I feel like women got to stop doing that.
And I'm like, well,
because men have to protect themselves and women have to realize that. And you have to just accept that
No
if you
means
say
no.
period, like men have to move like that, so you can't hold that against them because that's their way of protecting themselves too.
Pretty damn much.
Right.
Pretty damn much. I missed so many clues and hints because that's all I was getting.
Exactly.
I wasn't getting no. I was getting mainly no's, but you was cool with conversing on some shit. But then it just wasn't proper.
Right.
You gotta
know what I
respect
mean?
it.
You gotta respect it.
You gotta respect it.
That's
Women
it.
gotta respect it. It gotta go.
Has to go both ways, exactly. But let's bring it back to this because I don't want to get off on. I think
tangent.
that's a no, it's not even a tangent. I just think I want to make sure that we're focusing on Trey, and especially with him being such a big sex symbol during our time. I mean, that's my era. Like
Trigger.
that Trigger Trey,
That Ready album.
Ready album, Panty Dropper. I mean, he was R. Kelly,
Yeah.
basically, and
Oh,
and the
damn.
fact that he followed R. Kelly so to the T, like you can definitely tell that R. Kelly had a major influence on his music and the way he performed and the way that he presented himself. So, and this is not the first allegation that we've heard about Trey. This is like
The third, at least the third.
I would say he's probably more than that because there's been sexual allegations and physical abuse allegations against Trey, and multiple women have been saying similar things. If we remember, I think it was episode 7 or 8 that we talked about where he had a weird fetish where he had the girl in the tub
Oh yeah.
and then didn't ask for consent to do all that weird stuff he was doing there.
Oh,
And then she talked about that as well. So there's multiple instances where it seems like consent is an issue for him.
That's what we talked
Very
about
much
him
so.
before.
Very much so an issue for him.
Yeah, it was the No Jumper podcast where they were kind of talking about it. So
yeah.
and then there was one recently, what's her name? The WNBA player.
Dylan
Gonzalez, where she tweeted out in December that she was raped by Trey Songz, and they just recently said that I guess that they're not going to pursue the charges,
criminal charges.
but she said that she's going to keep pressing and trying to press on. So there's multiple allegations. So I guess the other question I want to say is, for us, especially since we're in media, we're in podcasting, do we believe the quote or the term where there's smoke, there's fire?
Yeah.
Because we've seen, like with the Deshaun Watson situation, there was 22 women that were accusing him of the same thing, and they dropped all charges. So is this a similar situation where, or do we think that there are so many women saying similar things that there must be something there? Especially to me, I think the icing on the cake and what it should have been the start of it. When Keke Palmer said what she said, because she's known him since they were 12, she says.
Yeah.
So
Why would she?
there would be no reason for her to try to throw him under the bus. Like to me, it's it's believable. Like, why would you not believe her when she said that? So do we believe? Like, I mean, really, I guess the question is, do we believe that this is true?
I think so, because I know you mentioned the Deshaun Watson, but again, like you said, what could be proven in court versus what actually happened, like. I feel like we it's a real gray area there, and for me, I'm like, okay, they dropped the charges, but bruh, you doing some out of pocket shit. You know what I mean? Regardless, like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like you even admitted to having sex. Why was you having sex with these masseuses and keep changing them?
Right.
Now, you know what I mean? So again, for me personally, I feel like the absence of like conviction or criminal charges don't necessarily make you innocent necessarily for me.
The absence of evidence.
It can.
Is not evidence of absence.
I mean, it can, but I just feel like you have to really like look at the facts, and sometimes the facts be like, it was some shady shit going on regardless.
Right,
you know what I mean? So that's kind of how I look at it. So I think it is true, especially when you got video,
Facts.
like of you doing the exact
what it
shit
said
people
that she
say
was
you be
accused of.
doing.
Yeah.
Like,
Does the fact that it happened back in 2013 does that change anything for you? And does it change? Does the fact that she's pursuing a civil suit instead of a criminal suit or charge or investigation, does that Does that change your perception on her claim?
No, because there's video and that was out of pocket. Like, regardless of all of the other things,
Right.
me watching that, I'm like, why would you do that?
Right. And I'm just, and only reason why I'm asking is because there are men specifically.
Absolutely.
No, actually,
And
there are
women.
some women. There are some
Oh,
women
stop. I was gonna say,
who are
come on.
saying that, well, if it was true, you would want your accuser, or you would want the person that did this to you in jail and not the $5 million. And you would want them locked up. And why did it take you 8 years for you to come forward with this information?
Well, okay. Outside of the 8 years, because that is a question, like why it takes so long. That when it comes to getting the money versus sending somebody to jail, most people don't feel like they got what they deserve just by sending somebody to jail, right? That means they got their justice is different. You know, because like, oh, my accuser, or my abuser was sent to jail. They can't touch me or anybody else anymore. I feel safe. I'm not gonna see that person again. Give me that $5 million, because then I can do some other shit with that. You know what I mean? Instead of, okay, him going to jail doesn't change my life. $5 million changes my life.
Right.
So I can see why people will be like, you know what? I will settle out of court because you're gonna keep doing your shit. I win more this way than by you going to jail. So I'm not going to go that route. I want to go ahead and win. Give me that money.
Right.
What I find interesting is that you see people that'll be online and like even with that recent like Mike Tyson thing or whatever, and people be like, if a celebrity breathe on me, pay me. Like they always say that, but when somebody out here about to get paid, when somebody wronged them, it's a problem.
It's a double standard.
You know what I mean? Like y'all be screaming.
Hypocrite. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's hypocritical. Like I ain't mad. And my thing is this, like, even if it is like an opportunity to use this situation to get paid, the situation shouldn't have happened.
Facts.
You're bad.
Facts.
Like, why would I feel bad for Trey Songz because he pulled somebody's titty out and now they suing him?
Facts.
He shouldn't have did that.
That's facts. and I think the thing that people also got to realize is, just because somebody pursues a civil suit instead of a criminal investigation or charge, however you want to classify it, it could mean that they just don't have faith in the justice system.
That too.
And they feel like that if they do go to court, that there won't be any justice served. Because how many sexual assault cases don't get in without any charges? Again, the one from the one from the WNBA player, there are no charges.
Yep.
So, but I also get the other end of it is that if you would want somebody that does that off the street so that way they don't do it again. So I get both sides, but just because somebody's pursuing it doesn't mean that they're an opportunist, doesn't mean that they were not traumatized. It just means that they decided to pursue it in a different manner. And like you said, Steph, most people in her shoes would have done this same exact thing.
I think another thing people need to realize is that a lot of times when stuff happens, like this happened in 2013, like the culture around this was different then too. You know what I mean? Like there's things like I talk to people and they realize things that were done to them were out of pocket now because we think about things differently. And I'd be like, damn, that person they shouldn't have did that to me, or they shouldn't have said that to like now. At the time it was just kind of like, oh, this is what happens sometimes.
Right. Well, and the video is resurfacing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even say resurfacing. It's surfacing because I don't remember seeing this video before.
Yeah.
So we don't know where the video came from, and maybe she didn't see. And that's the other thing. Maybe she did not have access to the video.
You know what?
To have proof
For her claim.
You know what? You brought up something interesting about before I didn't think it was before nobody thought it was a problem. Right now, all of a sudden, I look back at it. Damn, that person shouldn't have done that. Right. But there's a lot of shit that was happening in the past that at that time, everybody's mindset was, this is okay.
Cool. Yeah.
So everybody having that mindset at that time, it stays within that time. You know what I mean?
So
like this was
feel
okay.
Like you should be as accountable because it might have been a different time frame too. As far as like people's mindset towards stuff like that,
I'm not saying specifically about that because that shit was wrong. But I'm just saying overall when it comes to certain things about like what's okay and what's not okay.
Maybe more specifically like the Bill Cosby stuff.
Yeah, like everybody was doing that kind
like
of thing.
as far as the drugs and giving the drugs to women, and like that was just part of this.
culture.
Okay. Let's go a little bit less directly
Sexual
rapey.
assault. Okay.
right directly.
Yeah.
Let's go with how Looney Tunes want to switch up on Pepe Le Pew. Pepe Le Pew.
I got you.
Right? Back then, the chasing the women
Right.
was normal. That was what was expected,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Back then, that was okay because that's how people live their lives.
Right.
Right now, we're looking back at it like, oh my God, if that happened now, that would be this and this and that. It'd be inappropriate. But back then, at that time, that mind frame, that overall societal thought process, that was A-okay.
See, but you know what's weird is that when you came out, there was a weird infatuation with how he pursued his women. And there were some women saying, oh, I wish somebody pursued me like that. And it's
I said some women that actually like
and I'm
that.
like, but he killed her.
He's murdering.
And he's like, yeah, murdering,
He's
stalking, looking in her window, hiding in her room when she like.
That should tell you the level of a healthy level of relationships are right now, due to the fact that they think it's so. Back to what I was saying before.
But when you know better, you do better.
Right.
That's my thing.
Right.
When
you know better, you do better. But
And
if
certain
you
stuff
don't
don't
know
age well.
better, certain shit don't age well. But it's because certain things, the ideas or certain shit changes. There's going to be a whole lot of things that we were like, okay, this is perfectly fine, and the next you know, somebody down later in the line is going to be like, damn, that's not okay. That's not cool.
Let me ask you this before because I want to get back on Trey. Do you think men struggle with that more than?
Absolutely.
Because we don't make the rules.
Absolutely.
Well,
We
no,
don't make we hardly
Men struggle with the change.
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
That's the
Yeah,
problem.
yeah. I'm
Like,
talking
when
about the
you start to say
transition.
like, hey, these things aren't cool. We've been doing this. Like, bruh, when you know better, you do. You gotta it's hard for them to change with the time, especially when it comes to sex and pursuing women, because that's the main thing most niggas want. So it's like, what? I gotta switch up what I do. I gotta start asking. Bruh, that's hard for men to understand. Like, and again, like you said, we didn't know a lot of these things were an issue. Like for me, like sexual coercion, like for me, it was kind of like I didn't take it seriously. Like, you know what I mean? Even for myself, like there's certain situations I'm like, I remember I was in, I'm like, damn, I really didn't want to do that. But now that I know better, of course, that's what I'm going to preach and I'm going to teach to the women coming up after me.
Right. That's just like that clip from Drewski where they were giving alcohol, right?
Yes.
And people were like, he had to take it down.
Yeah.
Because it was too triggering. And like a lot of people were upset. But I'm like, but it's true.
And just to
It's
explain,
true.
just
It's
to explain
100%
the clip,
true.
it was a clip of him having invited girls over and getting them drunk so that he could.
It was a skit.
It was a skit.
It was a skit.
It was all
It was
skit.
a skit of him getting women drunk so that would be easier to sleep with.
Yeah. And it was to highlight the rape culture that we all at some point in time either directly or indirectly have partaken in. And it was a good clip because I was like, hey, it's calling out some shit that needs to stop. And it got so bad when the comments that he had to take it down.
Yeah.
And yeah. So anyways, back on Trey, because this is all encompassing. So I don't want people thinking that us talking about it in general is not talking about him directly, because we are going to talk about him directly because I think it needs to be talked about. So I'm going to play. I think one of the things that's made this so different is that there's men speaking out against Trey Songz rather than just women, because before it was kind of like a weird battle of the sexes. Women will say it and then men will be like, oh, y'all tripping. But this time there are men actually coming out and speaking up with the women.
But I've seen a lot of women defending him, and that's the part that I'm just like.
But I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah.
Because it was the same thing with the R. Kelly thing.
R. Kelly, yeah, you're
I'm not
right.
surprised by that. So I'm going to play this clip from Rory. Rory from the previous, he was previously on the Joe Budden podcast, but is on his own podcast with Maul. There were other men that spoke out, but I'm going to use his clip because I think his clip is more profound. So we're going to go ahead and play his clip really quick. Is that playing? No. Let's move this back.
In 15 years, however the fuck long it's going to be, that Trey Songz doc is going to be crazier than the R. Kelly one. Trey Songz is the most nasty, abusive, rapey, beats the shit out of women. Like, he is the scum of the fucking earth. Trey Songz is fucking disgusting. Like, his doc is going to surpass, if you ever thought you could surpass an R. Kelly doc, I promise you in 15 years, Trey Songz, his doc will. He's an awful human being. Like a terrible, terrible fucking human being.
Santa Claus.
And somebody is going to knock him the fuck out.
It's not like you know who that somebody is, quiet. Yeah.
This isn't one story. This is personal that I know with, I'm not even exaggerating. Close to 15 to 20 women, all with the exact same experience that I know not to be liars at all. Trey Songz was cleared. What is Rory talking about? His charges were cleared. I'm not talking about the charges that he was charged with. It's not what I'm talking about. I have no idea who the fuck charged him for that shit. I'm talking about my personal experience with women that I know personally. He's a awful human being. But I didn't mean to go on that tangent. If I get one more Trey.
Sheesh. Woo, sheesh.
This is not about music.
I just put that on there because people are gonna try to make this seem like it's about the music, and it's not.
Always want to talk about the music.
So look, we like to predict on podcasts. I'm gonna say this: it's a wrap for him. It's a wrap. Once that snowball starts rolling, it is hard to stop it. There is nothing you can do to try to get in front of this. There's nothing that Trey's going to be able to do to try to convince us otherwise. I'm hearing not only this from Rory, I've heard this from DJ Academics. He said that it is the same thing, that is multiple stories from multiple women that he has personally slept with that have said that he is into weird fetishes, has done some weird stuff. There's a dildo story that's rolling around from multiple different women, which if you're into weird fetishes, that's not sexual assault. But the stories in regards to the manipulation, in regards to holding women against their will, in regards to not doing things without their consent, that is a consistent story from multiple different women, from multiple different sources, from men and women alike. I'm sorry, where there is smoke, there is fire. Yeah. And for Trey himself, if somebody is saying that if they did a documentary on you that it would be worse than surviving R. Kelly, that's saying a lot. Wild.
That's saying a lot.
Because that doc made me feel hella uncomfortable.
So, do you think it's going to be shorter than 10, 15 years?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, because especially after that, what's been going on now, what happened last year, whatever, it's damn near already in the works.
Oh, it's for sure in the works.
Now the question becomes this, though. First off, when's the last time we heard a new Trey Songz song?
Man, I can't even tell you.
Yeah. I mean, all of his catalog that I used to listen to was older stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
do you think it's going to have the same reception of we're not listening to any more of his music the same way Kelly was?
I think R. Kelly's different because his music spanned over 3 decades.
Okay.
Actually, you could argue 4.
Okay. Mm-hmm. You can argue 4.
Late 80s, all of the 90s, definitely early 2000s, and 2010-ish. Mm-hmm. And he also wrote for other people and produced. And his music is iconic. I mean, I Believe I Can Fly still gets played at school graduations to this day. Mm-hmm. So it will not have the same cultural impact. But for the people that grew up on him, oh, for sure. For sure. Like my generation, it's going to hit a lot of these women that loved him. Because I'm telling you, women loved Trey. Mm-hmm. Loved him.
Like for me, it would be like, if this was Usher, that would be like, what? Like, right. To like, you know what I mean? Like, to try to wipe out that catalog and not listen to that no more.
Yeah.
Or Drake.
I was gonna say it would. I would.
Drake.
I would equate.
God no.
God no. Drake don't do nothing. Please.
I would equate because this is gonna probably hit people more probably better than what we're talking about, like with the R. Kelly stuff. Mm-hmm. If Lil Wayne was convicted or done something like that, this would be the equivalent. Trey Songz was that. I don't think people remember how big Trey was.
I think too. You're right, because I feel like that's why people kind of swept that whole little Lotto, him possibly being the one that was trying to force her to have sex with him for a feature. People swept that under the rug quick because they're like, I ain't trying to stop listening to Lil Wayne.
Yeah, and they were both hot in the same era. That was a ringtone era where LOL Smiley Face and all that other, all the other songs that he had. So
the mixtape,
the anticipation.
Ready was like
iconic. The album for sure. So I do believe that it will have an impact, but nowhere near the R. Kelly. I think that is, you just can't. Just there's nobody I can think of that has a catalog like R. Kelly's, that other than maybe Drake, that would have an impact as if it was.
Do you think people will stop listening?
That's what I'm asking.
I'm sorry. Will you think people stop? I think.
And do you think it matters
that people stop listening?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Okay, honestly, the way people work, if anything does come out, his plays gonna go up higher.
I'm gonna say no.
His plays gonna go higher.
You don't think people will stop listening? And
Nope.
do you think it matters?
If people stop listening?
For me, it doesn't. I'm gonna just keep it real.
Yeah.
For me, it doesn't. I feel like it's a personal choice, and I always said that even with people still listening to R. Kelly's music, it is a personal choice, and I believe that. I feel like the part that bothers me is people's excuses for why they still listen. It be real, real like
what? Like what's some excuses?
Like rape apologists, like, you know what I mean? Like, even though like them women knew what they was doing, all that kind of stuff. That's the part that be bothering me.
That's
like
true.
if you want to still listen, that's your business.
That's your business.
But I feel like that's the part where be making me look at people sideways when they be like, she knew she wanted her titty out. She was there at the party. She was doing, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff.
Or where were the parents? Why did the parents keep
All
taking them over there? All that.
That's
other
the
stuff.
part that looks shady and bothers me.
I'm
people.
gonna tell you why it's different, because I know a lot of people are gonna start comparing this to R. Kelly. Because it's just there's too many similarities. But the difference for me, the reason why I'm so adamant about not listening to R. Kelly's music is because the sexual acts against the children he was writing and singing about.
Yep.
Age ain't nothing but a number. Are you ready? Like, that's like, to me it's clear as day. You know what I mean? With Trey, he's not the artist that R. Kelly was. I'm not too sure how much he wrote, but I know a lot of the music he didn't write. And I don't think there's any song I could think of that
would equate to.
Well, not even equate, that would. There's nothing that alludes to sexual assault.
Right. I get people saying I
Until
don't want to
later down the
support
line.
him. Like, I just don't want to support him or I don't want to put money in his pocket. I definitely, agree with that. And I feel like, again, it's a personal choice.
A personal choice. I don't know personally what I would do. I'm leaning towards not listening, but I don't know. That's a very hard question. Can you separate the artist from the art?
It depends on the art.
Or how you want to put it. Can you separate the person from the art?
It depends on the art.
Yeah, and I think that's where my stance is. It depends on the art. The R. Kelly stuff, no, I can't.
Equated too much.
I can't because you're having sex with minors. No, I can't. So all the sexual songs that you sing about, that's where my mind goes. I can't separate it. And people might kill me for this. The Bill Cosby show, I can.
Yeah, because you're not watching Bill Cosby. You're watching
the actor
Huxtables.
And to me, it's like I'm canceling. Like, I think what people got to realize, when you're canceling a show, you're canceling, like, if you're gonna cancel one person, which I understand, and if you want to, that's perfectly fine. But then you're canceling all the other people that contributed to that show.
Yep.
And I don't know. I mean, do we think that the real Bill Cosby was the one that showed up on set, or do we think that that was a character?
Well, is it the same thing with music? Like you said, Trey Songz didn't write most of his music. So if you cancel Trey Songz music, you canceling the people that make money off them streams because they had a hand in making those songs.
And that's where it becomes tough.
And that's why I said it's a personal choice. And I never had an issue with people saying, "Oh, I still listen to R. Kelly," or "I still watch this," or whatever. It's their reasoning behind it and their mindset. Like, it really kind of shows you a lot how people be thinking. I'm like, if you want to listen, you could have just said that.
Yeah, but it's tough because then it's like the same thing with what's his name? Spades. Kevin Spades. Is that his name? On House of Cards?
I don't watch that.
Which one?
Damn it, now I gotta look it up.
I'm like, I don't watch that. But what he
House
do?
of Cards.
The actor. Hold on. This guy. When I show him, you'll see what I'm talking about. I think his name is Kevin Spade. No, that's not him. Damn it, what's his name?
What do you look like?
He's white. That's all.
Like what? Whatever. He's white.
Kevin Spacey. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say that, but I wasn't sure.
Kevin Spade. Kevin Spade. I'm sorry. Yeah. So I believe he had some sexual misconduct stuff, and they definitely canceled House of Cards, took all of his stuff that he was on off, all because of it. So it's like, and I know sometimes that we be saying, white people don't get treated the same way that black people do. Well,
it's a different time.
It's a different time. It's a different time. And I think, sexual assault allegations, so same thing. So you're saying that you think that, okay, let me ask this question. And then we can move on. But I think we all came to a general consensus. We all think that Trey did it to some extent, or has done something that is not legal, right? Mm-hmm. Do you believe that his reckoning is coming sooner or later? And do you think there will be a documentary?
Sooner, and I don't know.
I think there will be. It seems like documentaries get more traction than anything.
100%.
Absolutely. I think it will be a documentary. Like, you see documentaries coming out left and right. You seen how big the that one girl, the heiress girl, that was so-called her documentary. Mm-hmm. The Fire Festival, like those documentaries really go up. Mm-hmm. Even the Surviving R. Kelly went up. Mm-hmm. I didn't watch it. I just could not bring myself to watch it. But I definitely think there's going to be a documentary. I am interested just to see how the culture responds, because we see how it went with R. Kelly and how it was like, I don't think he's as beloved as R. Kelly was, So I don't know. I think his reckoning might be worse than what R. Kelly's was, just because he's not as beloved as R. Kelly was in the community.
Yeah, but don't underestimate their fans. I mean, the fan base is they gonna ride or die.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be as big as R. Kelly. I don't even think it's going to be even. I'm gonna feel like it's not even going to be talked about as much as R. Kelly, because R. Kelly had shit for decades dealing with.
Yeah, so his fans was like span like a wide.
That's what
I'm not even just talking about that. I'm just talking about the legal shit that he was dealing with. He's been he's been dealing with shit. This nigga survived.
Yeah, he survived.
R. Kelly sketch. I mean, Dave Chappelle sketch.
The sex tape.
And the Boondocks.
Yeah.
The sex tape. All that. He still had a career after that.
Right.
I can't lie. My black ass was listening to Chocolate Factory.
So he's been dealing with. He was dealing with a lot of shit.
Well, we were kids though.
Yeah, we kept it pushing.
But
he was able to still put out albums and still.
No, I know, but I'm just saying we were kids. I mean, I can't put that on us.
Well, yeah, I know. At this point, when you know better, you do better.
Shit.
But I'm saying he was able to still put out multiple albums after that.
Yeah.
And I just don't see that for Trey Songz.
Well, I think what you're saying is, and I think it's a good point, is because there was a lot more money behind R. Kelly than there's probably behind Trey Songz.
And not only that, but at that time there's only pretty much that situation, that one situation that he had to deal with, that everybody knew about when it comes to the girl in the sex tape, right? If something comes out,
there was more. There was the Aaliyah marriage and a bunch of other stuff that
Okay,
but again,
criminally charged.
Right, so how many?
And in the social media age, what that was, because again,
social
a lot
media
of
wasn't even hitting that hard yet.
No, it wasn't. Yeah.
Look at social media now, mind you. We had the Me Too movement. There's, again, like I said, it's a different time now too, with Trey's allegations coming out. So
exactly.
I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see how the community responds.
They about to get Trey up out of here. I'm sorry. I don't see any other way. I don't see this ending any other way.
So you guys think by the end of this year?
I mean, he already kind of up out of here.
Yeah.
Like you said, when was the last time he put something out? I think the allegations might be why he kind of faded to black anyway.
That'd be a good. I'm gonna just go ahead and just
maybe. Ain't much to get up out of here.
I say we hear about a doc by the end of this year.
Yeah, somebody gonna jump on it.
Somebody for sure gonna jump on it. Netflix definitely may be the one that might jump on
They
it.
need it.
Because they definitely need something.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, and please, can we owe Keke Palmer an apology?
Absolutely.
We done said it before. We're going to say it again. As a culture, we owe her an apology.
Yep.
A huge apology. Because she was right.
She was right.
She was right. And I do agree with her that your skin complexion definitely does hinder or change how your accusations are handled.
Absolutely.
And that's sad. All right. We are going to get on to the next segment, Keeping It Real. Segment that we talk about where we find a clip either on TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube, etc., and we react to it. So on this one, we're going to have to give a little bit of backstory because the clip was like 10 minutes long, and we can't play no clip for 10 minutes long. So I'm going to give y'all a little bit of a background, and then we'll play the clip that I have. So this is, and you guys have probably seen this floating around the internet. This was a man that goes by the name of Rich Porter, which is probably not his real name. And then a young lady, and she goes by the Instagram or Facebook name of Journe the Dreader. So she does hair, things like that, right? So I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of background. So basically, there's some screenshots going around where there's text messages where they're basically trying to link up, right? So she's trying to come over. She's asking him to come swoop him at around like 1 o'clock in the morning, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. They're texting back and forth. He says, okay, cool, we're going to kick it. And then she basically says in the text message, don't try nothing. And he's like, well, what do you mean by that? And then she says, LOL, nothing, and doesn't clarify, okay? So then she picks him up, or he picks her up. They go over to the crib. They're kicking it. And long story short, he ends up trying to do something with her. She says no. She declines the sexual advances. He then gets her an Uber and sends her home. So on Facebook or Instagram or whatever social media, she basically puts it on blast and says, oh, just because I wouldn't give him any sex, he basically sent me home. Then he asked on his page, was I wrong for that? And then everybody on the internet basically chimed in.
I think it's also important to include the fact that they had agreed to link around 8 o'clock.
Okay.
And she was at dinner, and the agreement was that she was going to slide after. So
the timing wasn't necessarily on her.
It wasn't necessarily I'm going at 1 o'clock in the morning. It was like
that's just when they linked.
Exactly. And okay. She was actually originally supposed to be going to meet with him at like a family member's house, something like that. Like it was going to be a group of people.
Okay.
And as it got later, it was kind of like, hey, is we still linking?
Got it. Okay.
And he was actually sending an Uber to pick her up. I don't know if he ain't got no car or what.
Oh, okay.
So he was sending an Uber to pick her up. So she was waiting for him to send an Uber for her. And
got it.
The last communication was, I'm headed to the house now. And then he was going to be sending the Uber. So the original plan wasn't even to go to his house.
Got it. Okay. So that gives better context. That gives better context.
Add that part in.
All right. So I'm going to play this TikTok video that kind of further explains the situation, and then we're going to react. I'm going to just play it on my phone instead of playing on TV so you guys can, because it's just hearing it anyway. So.
Be that there's more details that went down that night, and it's floating around in the comments. So Rich Porter went live and broke it down, or at least said his side.
Cause y'all in here trying to defamate my character like I'm one of them type of people and what the damn yeah with this teeth missing. Oh, shorty, I'm a smooth, laid back type of nigga. I'm cool. I never had no press for no coochie, no. I never been thirsty with no female, nothing. Now listen, I'm finna explain to y'all one time how this went. Send her Uber, boom. She gets to the crib. She's in a fucking two-piece leggings set. I never saw it before in my life. You know how the blue leggings with the them? She got the jacket with the bitch, with the hoodie. Woo. Halfway unzipped. A bra right here. No shirt on under that. She coolin'. Okay, we smoking. I ain't say nothing about the fit. I ain't say nothing about the bang, the glasses, her talking and covering.
No matter what she was wearing, it shouldn't be able to give you any kind of consent. But for her to say, don't try nothing, and he says, what you mean? And she says, LOL, nothing, and then wears that outfit, it's just like, LOL. That's an LOL to me, man.
She was like, I'm getting hot. I can take off my clothes. I can put on some shorts. I'm like, cool. I got some shorts for you to put. No, she like, I'm getting hot. I can take off my jacket. No shirt on under that. That's a bra. I can take off my jacket. I'm like, shit, I got some shorts for you to put on. She like, cool. Boom. Get naked. Take off everything. Put on. I throw the Nike shorts. She throwing the Nike shorts. Boom. She happy now at this point. She got on my Nike shorts. She's comfortable, titties out, wow, whoop, skin, but she happy. Boom, she's eating her food. We cool, and I'm rolling the wood at this point. We watch little TV, I roll the wood at this point. After halfway in the wood, she goes get in my bed. So basically, I finish the wood. I get in the bed. Now, at this point, she proceeds to lay her fucking head on my lap. On the dick. I'm talking about my shit poking her. It's poking jawbone. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. She's still right there, though. She's still right there. So, as a nigga, I just put my hand on her face. She moves her head. I'm not sucking her. Okay. I'm going to try to get you in the mood there. Since you right here, you ain't saying, she just move her head. She ain't say she ain't sucking her dick. She just move her head. She probably don't like me gripping her head or something. Maybe I got to let her do it. So I'm cool on that. Boom. She get up. Lays next on the side of me. Them there, right here. Them there kissing well. I put my head down now. I go back to titties or something. Try to kiss her titty. Rub her titty. She say stop. I'm not finna play a game with your little bug ass. Look, I ain't get rude or say nothing. She said stop. Looked at the TV from my bed, she cool.
Now at this moment, I think most people, especially women, would call this an SA. So if I'm understanding this right, if I don't give you consent, then it's always an SA. He didn't ask to touch her sexually, so I gotta classify that as a SA. He can say, well, that's what I thought she was trying to do, but there really isn't a lot of evidence that kind of showed she was interested. At one point between a relationship between you and somebody else, you don't got to keep asking for consent for every specific minor thing. You know what I'm saying? But you got to build up to that. So there's got to be like a bunch of like maybe sexual talk between you and text. If you were to been like, oh yeah, we was kissing, making out, she was kissing on my neck, you know what I'm saying? It would make more sense why you had the idea that, you know, it was okay to kind of just do that. Low key, I gotta be kissing up on you before I really kind of make these stronger sexual moves. But sometimes girls like that bold shit. It can be sexy, but we gonna have to start making consent look sexier.
I go to the bathroom, look in the mirror, get myself together. It's late. I'm tired, really. Go back out. I smoke me a whole fucking fat ass wood for myself. This a little ass wood. I smoke a fat ass wood for myself. She laying in the bed. Now you trying to go to sleep, shorty. Now, after the titty incident and everything, why you still trying to go to sleep? If I make you feel uncomfortable, go home. You don't know me personally. This ain't that. I don't want to chill with you, cuddle you. I don't know you. You really was just a booty call. My bad. My mistake for doing that. My bad for calling you through and you wasn't on that. Okay, so look. Slag. I don't know you personally. You could be trying to wait till I go to sleep and run through my shit, trying to steal from me or whatever the case. I don't know. I don't know your attention. I ain't trying to put it back, but you know what? I ain't gonna do you bogus like another nigga and throw you out on the streets and how you walking, shorty. I motherfucking get you an Uber home safely. I got you an Uber home safely. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm one of those niggas. Yeah, I spill my yeah. Ooh. So this what I did. I ain't gonna need. I say, is this the address you going? I tap her. She sleeps, snoring comfortably. After the TD incident, after you say I sexually assaulted.
I do agree with this. If you felt sexually assaulted, why did you go back to sleep and just stay there? Some people would say, well, what if she was scared? What if she felt pressured? What if she didn't have a ride home? But bro got her an Uber, and the first status she makes is how mad she was that she got kicked out. So that she don't sound scared, bro. I'm gonna just wrap this up.
She got mad, she got kicked
out. He wrong when he didn't ask for consent. I do like, after she said no the first time, he backed off, called her an Uber. That was right. She already had an idea of what he was trying to do, and then she ends it with LOL nothing. If you was worried about it, you should have told him. She's also wrong for expecting to be able to sleep at a stranger's house and then get mad that you got kicked out. A lot of people are saying, what if she just wanted to cuddle and chill? That's cool. But she was sleeping. And if someone came over my house just to sleep, bro, you got to go home because I got things I want to do. What do y'all think about this? By the way, I want to say...
Okay.
Hold on.
I just want to say the nigga ain't got no two.
Hold on.
That's all I want to say.
Hold on.
I couldn't get past that too.
I do want to read. Where is it at? Was it a screenshot? Okay. I do want to read her Facebook comment, okay? So this is what she said, because this is in the actual comments of the post. This is her. She said, it really, okay, somebody said this whole post is crazy. And then she says, it really is. I never said he raped me. I said he SA'd me, which is sexual assault, because I told him 3 times and I woke up to him sucking my titty. After I said no, I don't know what everybody getting all this other stuff from. The only reason I fell asleep because he gave me PJs and I was high. So he said, the way he made it seem like when he was playing with her titties or sucking on her titties that she was awake. She's saying she was asleep and woke up to him sucking on her titty. Mm-hmm. So regardless, we have the full scope.
Do we?
Yeah, I think we have a pretty good idea.
It's one side versus the other side. It's
a one side versus the other side.
Gonna be that. My thing is this: when it turned into 11 o'clock that you just finally coming over, obviously both of these people have no cars. You would assume that you're staying. I would think.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I mean,
you coming over? You coming over at 11 o'clock. If you can take an Uber. Yeah, and then you want to. It's not like he just said, "Hey, you want something? You want to change into pajamas?" She asked, "Yes, can I take this off? Yeah, you more comfortable? Mm-hmm. Can I? All right, here's some shorts."
I
right?
think she got more specific.
So okay, why did she get in the bed?
Because
what?
Obviously, she was tired.
Well, she was high, and I'm glad that she puts that because I think that was another key missing part that people didn't get. When you're intoxicated or high, whatever, that can change. If you're over there at 1 o'clock in the morning, yeah, you might, depending on what strand of weed you were smoking, you may be more tired.
So she had all full intentions to spend the night.
I don't know.
That's what it
But it seemed like, to me, if coming over that late, it would seem like you stand. But from what she said in the text, don't try nothing. And then he said what? And she said, LOL. At that point, I feel like she should have stood her ground and been specific about.
She should have been more specific on what she meant by don't try nothing.
Exactly.
For sure.
But then I think like I said earlier, when I said people be fronting about what they want or what they expect, I feel like it gets to a point where it's like, well, maybe he won't want to kick it with me if I make this clear. Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, then still make it clear, because if that's really not what you want to do and he don't want to kick it with you because of that, oh well.
That's fine.
That's facts.
People got to accept that. Like, that's not the person you want to be kicking it with anyway.
That's facts.
Like, keep it real in these text messages. I don't want to have sex with you. And if that turns into him not wanting to have you come over, good riddance.
Facts. But I can say the same thing on his end. If the expectation was a booty call,
you should have said that.
And it should have said it. But then also, if she says, don't be trying nothing, then the follow-up, I mean, he said, what? Like, what?
You know what that meant.
But you know what that meant. And you said, well, that's not what I thought you were coming over here for.
There you go. Clarification.
And then she would have, well, I'm not trying to do nothing. Okay, well, cool. Well, maybe we need to go either we need to reconvene or hang out on a different day, or you're not coming over at all.
Yeah. So, like you said, clarification on both sides. He should have been like, well, what is you coming over for then if that's not what we... You know what I mean? So, again, but I feel like you said, a lot of guys do invite girls over, even if they know the girl don't necessarily want to do nothing because they're like, maybe that's what usually happens. You got to let it happen organically. They just think, she'll get over here, she'll change her mind. Like, no, for real.
That's the photo B bag, the vibe.
The vibe. You know what I'm saying? If the vibe cool, then, maybe I could get some. Like, you know what I mean? So.
If she was, honestly what he said, if she was uncomfortable, no matter how high you are, you're going to want to leave. If you're uncomfortable, you're going to want to leave. You're not going to be uncomfortable and be like, I'm going to take my clothes off, put some shorts on, and go lay down and get comfortable. That's not something that somebody does when they're uncomfortable. So it's valid that he be like, okay, she doesn't feel uncomfortable. She's getting laid up in my bed. Mm-hmm. Like, she's comfortable being here. I haven't done nothing wrong. Mm-hmm. She laid up her head on my hard ass dick, acknowledged it.
Wow.
No, she didn't acknowledge it.
No.
He didn't say no. He didn't say that. He didn't say she acknowledged it.
How did she acknowledge it?
Wherever he put his hand, she immediately was like, I'm not sucking no dick.
No, he said that. Then he turned around and said, well, she didn't say I ain't sucking no dick, but obviously she didn't want me touching her head. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was adding in things that she said and then taking it back that she didn't say it because this is what you was thinking. Mm-hmm. Well, it's not what was actually coming out of her mouth. This is what you think. Oh, she put her head right there, so she mean this. Oh, she put it like it seemed like he was putting a lot of words in her mouth that, you know what I mean?
A lot of the shit he was doing.
A lot of assumptions.
Well, but to be fair, he was speaking from his perspective.
Absolutely, but he's literally saying, "I touched her head." She said, "I ain't sucking no dick." She didn't say that. You turn around and say she didn't say that.
Yeah, a lot of times, what he was doing sounded like a lot of it was testing the waters.
Well, but he said it. He said, as a nigga.
Yep.
He said, I put my hand on her head, and she moved my hand away. So I said, okay, I guess you ain't sucking no dick. Yeah,
obviously.
All right, cool. My bad.
Right. You took that signal wrong.
What he said about them being laid up and her laying up on him and all been like this and something like that, that part right there was confusing because I wasn't sure what he was saying was going on.
She was laying her head. She was laying her head on his lap.
No. I'm talking about after when they was laid up in the bed because they're talking about. It seemed like the laying on the lap was like.
No,
like
that was when they was in the bed. I guess he said she.
Yeah, so she put the basketball shorts on. She went to go in the bed. I guess he went in the bed too. Then in the bed, she laid her head on his lap. And that's when he tried to do the whole hand move to try to push her closer to,
I think what people got to realize too is just because you don't want to have sex with somebody don't mean you don't like them.
Yeah, but
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
For men, that's hard for y'all to grasp in y'all head that if I like you and we're attracted to each other and we're in this space together, don't
sex.
It all equates to sex, but for a woman, like I could like you, that don't mean I want to have sex with you yet.
Don't lay your head on my lap. Don't lay your head on my lap.
Or what?
Because
you get sexually assaulted. No.
What I'm saying is, if you lay your head on my lap, right, and
so you cannot be affectionate
unless
you
hold on. Let me finish. If we're laid up, sitting down, whatever, right, and we watching something, you choose to lay your head on my lap where my dick is. My dick get hard, and I'm flexing my shit. My shit gonna jump in my clothes. Like, hey, how you feeling about the fact that you feel my dick on your face? If you're not moving. My idea is you like it there. You want to know what's going on. A lot of women don't say shit because listen. A lot of women don't.
Say they don't.
Listen,
I'm saying that.
A lot of women
stop.
Let them finish.
Women don't say shit. A lot of women don't say I want this. A lot of women rather have a man understand the fucking hints and clues that they give us, and a lot of the times that's a fucking hint or a clue. If you choose all options, you have my shoulder. I could turn, you could lay up right here. You could just lay on the other fucking side, but you choose to lay your head on my hard ass dick and don't think he might think he wants something.
My thing is this. This is what the biggest issue is. And this is the issue with them too. Y'all are hanging out, kicking it with, and trying to have sex with people that you don't fucking know. And that's the problem. You should know what type of woman you dealing with. Mm-hmm. You should know, like, with my husband, I let him know, like, when I give you that hint, you should know. Like, I don't want to have to say it. Mm-hmm. He knows this about me. Mm-hmm. So he knows how to move with me. The problem is y'all dealing with people that y'all don't even, you try to read people that you don't know. Am I wrong?
Mm-hmm. No,
you should know what type of woman you dealing with. if she's vocal or not. Like, hey, you know, when you like, why aren't you having these conversations?
Well, I think the issue is from the beginning.
If you scared that she finna rob you in your sleep, why is she at your house? Why are you finna have sex with her? You see what I'm saying?
Why
you
is she
having
here not
sex
fucking
with people
around?
you don't know, and it goes both ways.
Yeah, it does go both ways.
Okay, so him sending her back is actually good on both ends.
No. Yeah,
It's
and you
safe
know
for
what?
I don't have a
both
problem
ends.
with that.
I think most people. I think we all agree. Him sending her home with an Uber was not wrong.
No.
I
And
think
the fact
you know
that
what?
she was mad about her being sent to the Uber is what was causing the whole issue. If you are mad about what he was doing while there, why are you mad that he sent you on an Uber? Why are you mad that this man that you said you felt uncomfortable with did all this to, he wasn't ready for this shit, sent you on your way home?
I didn't see anywhere where she said that she felt uncomfortable. I didn't see that part.
That's exactly what.
The part that I seen was her saying that she didn't want to have sex, and then he sent her home, and she just felt like that was whack.
That he sent her home?
Yeah, I didn't feel like it was whack.
It's not whack. It's
he
not
should
whack.
have. But
yeah,
my thing
because
is,
like, look, I'm sending you home because you don't want to do something. I might have somebody else who want to do something, and we're in the same wavelength. So you know what? I'm gonna send them this way.
yeah, I didn't have a problem with that. I just think that this conversation about consent needs to get real. The issue that there's gray area in consent when you're dealing with somebody that you don't know, and you're making the risk for yourself higher. And I think the problem for men is that the whole consent conversation really throws a wrench in hookup culture, because hookup culture, a lot of times you're dealing with people that you don't really know, that you booty calls or whatever.
Right.
And it puts you at higher risk. And I know a lot of men are feeling like, whoa, how do I know? How do I da-da-da-da? Stop sleeping with me on no. Don't nobody want to stop doing that. Yeah. So it's like, I got to get to know a woman. I got to know what she wants. I got to know what she is cool with doing. I got to know all these things before I sleep with her. They don't want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think in this specific situation, both parties are wrong for different reasons. Mm-hmm. So, and let's just move. I'm going to put the sexual assault shit to the side for now. Okay. She should have been more specific. Mm-hmm. He should have been more specific from the beginning. Okay. When she got there, she was sending mixed signals. Okay. Even if there's mixed signals, that does not give you consent to touch or start or try to do anything sexually, especially when there was a text message that says, do not try anything. That's specific. She did not specify or go into more details,
when he asked.
But don't try anything is pretty, most people know what that means. He was not wrong for sending her home.
I think they're both slow as fuck, first off.
I just think that as a woman, she put herself in a very compromising position by being at a man's house that she did not know, and with no way to get home.
And getting high.
And getting in his bed. But he also put himself in a compromising position by having a woman at his house that he did not know without, I mean, obviously he got her an Uber, but what if she didn't want to leave?
And now you, like you said, they talking about my character, and you put yourself in a situation. And you know what I'm saying? That's why I said men need to start protecting themselves better.
Yeah.
And start putting that before getting coochie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You should actually care about protecting yourself and your character.
Yeah.
And your shit, just your livelihood, because you could end up in jail. You feel what I'm saying? Trying to get some coochie.
Exactly.
So
yeah, for
you
me,
gotta move different.
You have to move different. So for me, as men, and again, this is what I was talking about, men having problems adjusting. If there are mixed signals, you need to side on the air of caution. Mm-hmm. And you need to just clarify, yo, what are we doing? And if it's just kicking it, okay, cool. We're just kicking it. And if you're not cool with kicking it, then you got to go home. And no woman should be mad at that, because if and I know we were talking about expectations earlier. If the expectations don't align, it's fine. But at the end of the day, that's his house. And if he don't want you there, then you got to go. But I do get the issue of, if I wasn't putting out, then I got to go. Like, and it feeling like that I was being either forced to put out or forced to do something I was uncomfortable with just to be in the presence of it. But again, both parties are at fault for not being more specific on what the intentions were from the beginning. Because she thought she was coming over there kicking it. He thought it was a booty call. That's where the issue was at. It's just there was a breakdown in communication, and both parties could have been more specific on what they wanted.
Period.
I think I feel like at this point, there shouldn't be any type of room for error of expecting any type of thing at a certain type of time. Because if I'm not coming over somebody's house, I don't give a damn if we planned 8 o'clock. If I don't get over there, and if I'm still coming over at 11 o'clock, just to kick it, I'm not coming over just to kick it. Because if like 8 to 11 is okay, all right, after 8 o'clock, all right, cool, we already going kicking and shit. 11 o'clock is around the time motherfuckers start getting tired and start winding down, start wanting to chill and, ease into on the way to sleep, right? If I didn't want to come over there, because it doesn't.
If the intention wasn't sex, then the time shouldn't matter. I think that's the thing. Like, I feel like all of a sudden, like, the clock strikes 11:59, and it's like, well, if I'm around a woman, it's sex time.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like, that really contributes to the rape culture of, like, certain times mean certain things and all. Like, I think we kind of got to get away from that. Like, I get it.
Didn't Kevin Samuels, like, say something like that? Like, if you don't want the man
after 5 o'clock, don't go on a date after 5 o'clock.
Yeah, to me, that's trash.
Yeah, I think we gotta start trying to get away from that. Like, I understand, like, obviously, like, my mom always used to say, ain't nothing out here in these streets after a certain time. You know what I mean? I get that, but I think that's why we keep getting into these situations of this gray area, because we're making that just a known fact that if it's 12 o'clock, that means sex. Like, we got to stop saying that. Consent means consent. The time don't mean consent. What they wearing don't mean consent. None of that. Actual, yes, I want to have sex with you is the only thing that should be considered what it means that it's time to have sex.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And men just got to be more, men got to be more careful. I'm totally in agreement with that, because in my dating time, like, I worked late. So there will be some times where we did kick it. Like, a girl would come over and we would kick it till 1, 2 in the morning and just talk or listen to music or whatever. And, like, that was just us kicking. Or we would go out to eat and then come back and, like, we would just chill out or whatever. And it wasn't like the expectation of
But
sex.
what time did that start?
Well, I would get off like 10, 10:30, like 11 o'clock. So when they slid through, it was like 11:30, 12, 1. To me, that was no different than me being on the phone till 3 o'clock in the morning talking.
It don't have to always be sex too. And that's my thing, is like, a lot of men are going to have to start being more honest that their only intention is sex. And that's the big problem
But
too.
then say it from the beginning. And to me,
and men don't want that. They want to try to vibe you into having sex with them when it's like,
because they want to still look like the nice guy.
yeah, act like that's not their only intention.
And that's why a lot of the quote unquote nice guys get mad, because they want a nice guy their way into some pussy. But then when they see that the girl that they're pursuing give it up to somebody that's not considered a nice guy, they're like, well, I did all this stuff and you didn't give me none. And then get mad when they give it to somebody else and they didn't have no effort. Well, because they were straightforward and they told them that that's all they wanted to do from the get-go. Yeah. And at the end of the day, then does that really make you a nice guy?
No.
You just trying to masquerade as a nice guy to try to get into some pants. And when that shit don't work, then it backfire on you and you get friend zoned and then you get mad. So I'm gonna and I told, me and Steph had this conversation before, and it's to me, look, it's not that hard, and this is a personal story that to me just lays it out perfectly. All right. So there was one night I was dealing with this chick, right? She was cool, she was bad, body was banging, the whole nine, right? So she would only want to come over at night. She had a daughter. She didn't want to leave her. Like, she would leave her daughter with her mom, but she did not want to, like, she just wasn't that kind of chick. She wanted to come over. So she had already kicked it at my house before. Didn't do nothing, right? We just chilled, we talked, whatever. So this night, she came over. We're kicking it. It's late, right? I have a drink. She has a drink. She goes in my bathroom, and mind you, my bathroom, I have a straight view. So I'm in the bed. I can see to the bathroom. She's taking off all her clothes, bending over in front of me the whole nine. So I'm like, same way that he was thinking. I'm like, okay, all right, let's go. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting ready. Mindset, I'm like, all right, like, this is about to go down. She gets in the bed, butt naked.
No panties, no nothing?
Nothing. Ass is out, titties out, the whole nine. So, BJ, so what you gonna think at that point? It's going down, right?
It's going down.
It's going down.
I'm getting naked too.
I turn on my smiley face mix. You know what I'm saying?
Some Trey Songz.
Look, no, hey, Trey was in the mix.
It was okay then.
And look, at that time, especially when you're young in your 20s, sex is the only thing that's on your mind. So the playlist is sequenced perfectly to line up to make sure that when we start doing, there's certain songs that turn it on a little bit, you know what I mean? So anyway, so she turns the other way. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of strange. I'm like, all right. So I, put my hand on, trying to like pull her close, right?
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't budge. So I'm like, okay.
She want me to come in her.
So I'm like, maybe okay. So then I try to put my hand a little bit lower, try to grab her leg to kind of open the legs up a little bit. Just see, partner of the Red Sea, you know what I mean? So legs is clamp closed. So I'm like, okay. And I asked her, I said, are you good?
Good.
And she's like, yeah. I'm like, you sure you good? She was like, yeah. I was like, all right. Then it started getting a little weird. And I said, you know what? I'm going to just go to bed. I said, because this is not the vibe that we're looking for. And I said, and if she's not turning towards me, if she's not trying to interact, she's not trying to touch, she's not trying to show me any signs that she wants to have sex, then there's no sex going down. And the last thing I want is to have sex with somebody that does not want to have sex. I want her to be into it just as much as I'm into it. So to me, there's levels of consent. Body consent, like, are you open? Are you receptive to the touch? If you're not, that's a no. To me, I don't have to hear you verbally say no. If you are not, if your body is not, if it feels like you are uncomfortable or you're like, like you're protecting yourself.
If you're not opening up to me.
Yeah, I'm good.
That's how it should be.
And that's just, to me, it's that easy. Like when he put his hand on her head and she moved his hand away, that's a no.
Yeah.
And then it could have been a simple question. Hey, what are we doing? Like, do you want to? Do you not? And if she said no, all right, cool. Hey, I'm going to call you Uber. You can go home because I'm tired. Have the conversation.
That's simple.
I don't really understand why this is such a complex issue. But in the comments, oh, well, she shouldn't have got changed in the basketball shorts. She shouldn't have been over there at 1 o'clock in the morning. She shouldn't have got in the bed. She shouldn't have put his head in his lap.
Yep.
At any moment, and this is what men need to understand, at any moment a woman can pull her consent.
And that's the part too that nobody talks about. Like, we could be
pants down.
I can say yeah and then change my mind. And I've been in situations where I was like, I was actually like thought that I was like, and then I was just like, nah, I don't want to. But at that point I felt like, well, shit, it's too late. I already did this or I already did that. And then you end up doing it. It's like, damn, I didn't really want to do that. So now older me is like, you still could have said no. But young me was like, it's too late because I already came over here. We already been kicking it. We already cuddled. We like, and you feel, and then sometimes like when dudes, like you said, when the body language is off, when dudes continue to pursue, a lot of times you be like, I'd rather say yes than say no, and then something happened to me. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? I'd rather be a willing participant. Yeah. So, I mean, I think guys need to take this into consideration. Like, do you really want some coochie like that?
Right.
Like, is it that deep? Like,
and if you think she's playing games, then nigga, stop playing.
Yeah.
Like you need to remove yourself from the situation.
Right.
Because if you really think that she is quote unquote playing games, then still what you're admitting is you are about to, if you proceed, you are putting yourself in a very vulnerable, dangerous situation.
Same thing for women. You also putting yourself in a very vulnerable, dangerous situation when you're not clear. Right. You know what I mean? But again, like I said, I don't give a damn what point. I don't care if your jaw's already off. If you change your mind, you can say no. Period. Because I've been there, not necessarily with my jaws all the way off, but I've been there where I didn't necessarily want to do it no more. Right. And I was like, it's too late. It's never too late. And that's not necessarily playing games. If you clear and say, you know what, I'm not. But really
as men, I can, and again, I'm not saying I see it this way, but it is perceived as that you're playing games.
Exactly. And that's why it's like, that's why we don't say no. We just go along with the vibe. You know what I'm saying? Because you already have gotten yourself too far in the mix. Right. And again, it's not that you don't necessarily like the person. Right. Like, I wouldn't be over here if I didn't like the person. Like, you know what I'm saying?
See,
like,
but I think Photo B, I know what you were saying as far as like laying on a lap, but I know, and I don't want to speak for you, and you can speak for yourself, but I would assume that majority of the women that you pursue, there is already clear intention already established before any of that. For the most part.
For the most part, yeah. It just always comes out as unclear mixed signals, right? I'm gonna do all these things that everybody else does when we're gonna fuck, but I'm not gonna wanna fuck.
Well, because I would think, I mean,
everybody's different, but I'm not going to say anything.
But I understand what you're saying.
And then it's like, why ain't you trying anything?
And that's why
I've definitely been in that situation before.
Why you didn't do that? And I've been the one to say that, because for me, I'm the type of person, like, I like it to be initiated by the man, but the man that I'm dealing with knows that. You see what I'm saying? And that's the part why I said dealing with people that and then still reading the vibe, because even if you are the one to pursue, I still make it clear.
But that's a good. So I want to stay here. So the men that you're dealing with know your signals.
My man.
So how does he know your signals? How did he get to know those signals?
I tell him.
Tell him.
That's
okay, there
talking.
you go.
That's why I said y'all not having these conversations about around.
When did you tell him?
What do you mean? When did I tell him?
Like how early in the relationship do you tell him that these are my signals? When you're ready to have sex?
Yeah.
Okay.
The first time?
What do you mean the first time?
You tell them your signals beforehand, before you got before y'all start fucking around. Did you tell them your signals? No. Look at that.
I don't think it kind of applies though.
Why not?
Because the first time that we had sex, it was clear intention that this is what we was coming over to do. So it didn't necessarily have to be like
she didn't have to have signals.
I didn't have to have a signal. It was like, we linking, we about to have sex.
Okay, so you told him your.
I feel like the first time that I told my signals was a time that I wanted him to do something, and he didn't, and I was like,
this was after
we had already had sex,
right?
Yeah, because I told you how the circumstances of the first time,
right.
But I'm saying, like, when I wanted him to do something and he didn't catch my signal, I'm like, hey, I was giving you the signal that I want to do A, B, and C. He like, oh, and my thing is, I didn't feel away. I didn't feel away, because how are you gonna know my signal? And again, men have to protect themselves.
Right.
Men aren't just gonna move like, oh, she might. Yeah. We can't say that consent is needed, but assume men are supposed to move based off signals they don't know.
See, but I think what you're saying, I think we have to. That is consent.
Yes.
When you're saying, when I do X, Y, Z, this is telling you that I want to have sex. That is basically is pre-consent.
Exactly. Pre-consent. You've already had the conversation. You know who you're dealing with. You know what she likes. You know how she likes to be pursued.
Yes.
So then again, and even in that, you might perceive a signal that ain't there. And at that point, I can say, no, I ain't trying to do nothing right now. And that should just be it.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Has every time that you slept with somebody, before you slept with them, was there full-on, clear-on communicative consent? Every time. Did you say, hey, yes, I want to have sex?
As far as I know, because the people that I have had, that I've slept with, that I necessarily wasn't in a relationship with, I don't know. I'm black and white. I want to know what we doing, and we on the same page. I feel like I've always, even in my booty call situations, like where you have that on-call person, you know what it, like we've already established what it is. And I think that needs to happen more. Like, establish what it is in that relationship.
But I understand what Photo B saying, because there are some times where you're kind of going with the flow, right?
Yep.
And you may not have pre-consent. But again,
It's a different time.
Right. But I think even in that conversation, you're still getting consent along the way. Like, again, like the example I got, when I'm trying to touch on you and I'm not getting any kind of touching or receptiveness back, that's a no. I don't have to keep going further to find out whether you want to or not, because if I'm touching on you and you're not turning over, you're not opening up your legs, you're not giving me no kind of moaning or sounds or kissing or nothing, it's a no.
Right. So now, what if she did want it, but she didn't state how she wanted it to start?
She wanted me to force it?
Not force it.
That's what it sounded like.
No.
You heard what I said, her bad.
I'm not saying force it.
Right.
I'm not saying coerce it. I'm talking about a little bit of coercion, but in the way of her being in control of the coercion.
I got you.
To almost to where it's like,
yeah.
This is essentially the foreplay that she likes.
I got you.
We just didn't get to that foreplay because there was no communication of, okay, I like to be started off like this. Right. So it could just be different.
And that's fine. But I'm not taking a chance in that moment.
I got you.
We can have the conversation afterwards, and then the next time I will know that that's what I need to do.
My whole thing about that was just about like how often do people communicate how they want to be approached before it even happens.
And that's
because a lot of times,
right?
Because a lot of times it don't even be on like, it'd be like, oh, we just being cool and shit, everything's chilling, and then just all of a sudden the vibe just out of nowhere it just changes, and it's just like.
But I feel like, again, body language matches up. There's actual mutual
Right.
I
Right.
feel like people know when something is mutual. You can't be that damn slow.
Right. But all I'm saying is, though, there was no communication of understanding how things work between the two. It just ended up being just understanding, like, this is just a vibe of it. Body communication, yes.
Body
Verbal
language.
consent, but at the same time, body language does not necessarily prove consent in every case.
Not every case. No. That's true.
Yeah, there's that difficult. Your body might want it, and your mind ain't. But your mind ain't saying shit. Your body's doing all the talking.
I feel like I think people don't really see what consent or understand what consent looks like in the moment. Like, I think people think everything should just happen like organically or whatever, and consent just kind of don't have a place in it. But I mean, as things are happening, you can ask questions.
I have definitely asked.
I don't see why
Yep.
that's an
I'm like,
issue.
you sure?
Yeah. Are
You want to,
what you
you know what I'm
want?
saying? Can I do this? Can you, like, you know, and you should too, because again, consent to have sex, like you said, it can change. Like, we could start having sex, and then you can't just take it out and decide to just put it in my ass without consent. Like, I didn't say all that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think you still have to ask questions. Like, is this cool? You want, like,
Yeah. I think so, and I think we also, and I'm probably gonna get killed for it, and y'all gonna hate me for it. Bottom line is, y'all need to stop sleeping with people that you don't know,
I said it.
and y'all need to take out alcohol, weed, anything that can alter your decision making out of the equation, especially the very first time. I know that's usually how most of it happens, but then most of the time, let's be honest, most of y'all wake up and you regret it, feel bad, feel shame, whatever it is. Just we just live in this culture that you should want, and like I said, hookup culture and all this other stuff. But diseases is real, rape is real, sexual assault is real, consent is real, and you are putting yourself at risk. And me and Steph had this conversation off air. You are essentially putting yourself at risk of procreating with somebody that you don't know. But then we shame the baby mamas and the baby daddies, and I never wanted to be in that kind of a situation. Well, that's basically how you're putting yourself in this situation. Sleeping with people that you do not know without having any foregone conclusion on what it is that they want and what kind of person that they are. And I'm sorry.
Look at them. Literally, he's like, I don't know if you're going to rob me or run through my place or whatever. She obviously wasn't comfortable having.
Well, and that's then why is she over there?
Why are you about to have sex with this person that you could potentially, like you said, it's always the risk of having a child with this person.
Yeah, and you could have still fell asleep, and she still could have robbed your ass.
You just would have had the coochie, so maybe you would have felt better about it.
Like, that's what I don't get. So if that was your main
nothing out of the exchange.
If that was your main concern, nigga, then why are you sleeping with her?
Nigga said I got blue balls and robbed.
That was a part that's
Oh no.
Fuck your life. Bing bang.
That was a part that stood out to me, that it's like, you press to have sex with this person that you think could possibly rob you. Like, what?
Right. But then I also get to, like, on the other side is if you really felt like that he sexually assaulted you, then why did you stay? But at the same time, like, people, and that's what I don't like people not thinking back to their days. Like, I've been in a situation where I've been so drunk, I can't go home. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Where I had to stay. And I was uncomfortable where I was at, but shit, I had no other choice. Mm. Obviously, she didn't get there on her own. Mm-hmm. So,
hookup culture is, and I've said it, hookup culture is not beneficial to women, and it's honestly more dangerous to women in a way. You know what I mean? Especially if you're out here with people that you don't know. Yeah, it just,
I don't know. I've always been in the camp that if I was on that kind of a tip where I'm having sex with, just wanting to have sex, it was usually somebody that I've had sex with before.
Mm-hmm.
Or talked about it.
Yeah.
And for most, like we had the conversation where it's like for most women, we especially, you know, the whole orgasm, and we gonna talk about it.
Oh shit!
It gotta be somebody that you know. And I think a lot of times people are like, why does she keep messing with that dude? Because a lot of times, if that's where you could get what you need, you're gonna keep going there to get it. You know what I'm saying? So,
or they're comfortable with that person.
Or comfortable with that person. A lot of people have to be with somebody that they comfortable with. You know, again, learning somebody's body. It's a lot more for us to get what we need.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why we stick with people that's familiar, and sometimes they ain't shit.
Well, you know what? That's absolutely true.
I kept the ain't shit nigga on the side.
Men feel like there's like an ego thing, like, oh, she keep coming back. But I have some in-depth conversation with women. And majority of the time, what they tell me is when they have a consistent dude that they go to, is because they don't want to have they don't want to put themselves at risk from catching something. So they say, I would rather deal with one person than deal with multiple 3 or 4 or 5 different people. And he ain't that good. He ain't this and he ain't that. But I know him and I'm comfortable. And that's it. That's really sometimes what it boils down to. That they trust you and they don't think that you going to be doing nothing crazy. And you already gave up and they ain't trying to catch no more bodies on their record.
That was the other thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, and then too, it's like, well, I'm catching another body and it's a maybe that I might get what I need out of it. With guys, like, hookup culture is works for y'all because y'all gonna get yours with anybody.
Well, see, but for men, we have this, and again, this is a general statement, so y'all niggas be on a weird shit. Oh, he said, oh, man. No, I didn't. Men, in general, we have this weird conquest thing where the more women that we conquer or have sex with, it boosts our ego. So our hookup culture is different because we want to usually try all the different flavors and all the different sizes and women and try to see what's good and what's not good. And again, like it's kind of like a notch under our belt. For women, I don't think y'all feel like that. Generally, there are some women who do, but generally, it's I just want to get some dick.
Yeah,
because all y'all women, y'all been in the car after the damn club. And that girl on the phone with the nigga that she says she ain't messing with no more. And y'all like, oh, you still talking to him? Girl.
He got what?
Drop me off at such and such house.
Mind you, after you just gave your number out to 4 or 5 dudes at the club that potentially could lead to something, but you know where you finna go to do what you gotta do. Like, I feel like women have needs too. And I think it comes down to it being like, oh, men sleep with all these women because they just have this high sex drive and they gotta scratch. Man, women, we have that too.
Oh, that clip. We gonna use that clip in the next show. The one where they were in therapy and the girl was talking about she wanted to have sex and he didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gonna talk about that. We gonna do that clip.
Man, stop playing. We want something too.
Yeah,
but and a lot of girls don't want to get around like that, so they keep one dude on deck.
Facts.
A lot of the time, in my experience.
A lot of them don't even put in no effort.
What you mean?
Hold on.
What you mean?
They don't put in the same effort that we do to get some.
We don't have to, unfortunately. No. I mean, I know it's a double standard.
They got about 5 or 6 men knocking at their door at any time, at any given time.
And I think,
and you know what? It's crazy. It be girls that I don't even be thinking be cute, but they be showing me the inbox. I'm like, God damn!
Come on, stop playing. Stop playing.
Man, it's
you seen them girls that got a baby, you be like, damn, who she has it?
You know what?
I mean, come on. Let's just be all the way honest.
Let's keep it real.
We don't have to really work for it.
No.
But at the same time,
especially in social media age,
it doesn't
look.
Every dude ain't worth it though. And that's the thing. Like, and that's what y'all don't understand that part about it. Like, why women can hold out the way we can hold out. Because a lot of times it ain't worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So, while we're talking about, you know, who like the kind of girls that still got niggas in their DMs, right? So, here's my theory with that. You can have a girl who sleeps with let's say she's like between, on a scale of 1 to 10, she's between like a 4 and a 6, right? Mm-hmm. She let a nigga who's between an 8 and a 10 hit, right? Just hit. Mm-hmm. Now this 4 to 6 thinks just because the 8 to 10 nigga hit that she deserves to be with an 8 to 10 nigga.
Hey, it's supply and demand out here in these streets.
But what I'm saying is just because she smashed, like she think it's going to be within that. But that 8 to 10 wasn't thinking about because she's a 4 to 6. I want her that way. He's not going to want to. His issue was just sex.
Yeah, I got you.
Right? But tell me if I'm wrong. If a nigga who's between 4 to 6 smashes an 8 to 10, he most likely can still get a 8 to 10.
If it's public, I'm pretty.
I don't know. It depends on the circumstances, and it depends on where you at. I think it's all supply and demand.
I think
if ain't no niggas around, and you a 4 to 6, then yeah, you may end up bagging an 8 or a 9.
Okay, so. Speaking of that, women who date men that aren't as attractive, whatever you want to call it, I feel like every woman has been with a dude that they dated that wasn't necessarily they type or not necessarily like generally attractive to the general public, and then still got cheated on. Why? Because you raised this nigga stock. And there wasn't no women in this nigga's inbox. But when he got with your ass,
Yeah.
come
That's
on
true.
now.
I've seen that.
And the audacity, all of a sudden he getting attention.
See, but I've also seen women that have dated the pretty boy and got dogged out.
Yeah.
And then got treated really well by the medium ugly nigga, right?
And then still want to cheat on him.
Maybe.
Yeah,
But
happened.
but I'm saying that I think there's a conception that there's a conception. There's a thought that the medium nigga is gonna be more loyal to you than the pretty nigga is. I've seen women say that.
Yeah, but yeah.
And then they be in for a rude awakening when it be like, damn, the audacity of this nigga to cheat on me. Like, what? But again, what happens is a nigga that don't usually get that kind of attention. Now you're with an 8 to 10, and now people are looking like,
Now you're getting
now you
different
get attention, and then they end up cheating. So I do believe,
or she
like,
levels them up by helping them dress and all that other stuff and putting them on different colognes and
that's basically what Sierra did.
Yeah, definitely.
She upgraded Russell.
Sierra
for sure.
definitely raised Russell's stock for sure.
Exactly. So I wouldn't be surprised if now women that wasn't willing to talk to him before.
Yeah.
I mean, he got money though.
I think a healthy relationship raises both people's stocks.
Yeah.
Because then you look at that and you're like, if I was with him, then I would be happy like she is. Or if I was with her, I would be happy like he is.
Mm-hmm.
And because I think people can't imagine somebody being in the role until they see them like that. Like I've seen people that were perceived as a ripper, but then get in like a healthy relationship. And then I've seen people change their whole perception and be like, yo, I want a wife like that. And I'm like, but you were just calling her a hoe last year.
Like that. You know what? It's so funny because
Hoes got the most feminine energy.
Chris Rock had said a joke one time where he was like, a man will see one of their friends or something with a good girl and be like, dang, I want a wife like that. Or I want a woman like that. He was like, women will see their friend or somebody they know with a good man and be like, I want that nigga. And I'm like, bro, it's true. It's true as
That's
hell
facts.
because dudes just think different. Like, I don't know, it's crazy.
Yeah, because he's like, why can't that be me? That should be me.
Yeah.
That should be me and him. Y'all can't equate. Y'all can't. The problem is y'all ran into too many ain't shit niggas that y'all can't fathom that anybody else but that motherfucker is going to be any good.
Yeah.
Right?
Ain't no more.
Ain't no more. We run into good women all the time.
This
We
the
know.
only option.
We know they exist. Right? I want that. You found that? Cool. I can find that in my own type of package.
You know what? Hold on. Before we get on to the internet wins again, I'm going to ask this question because you brought up a good point. Do you think that's why men are mad now?
What do you mean?
Do you think I'm gonna preface this? We have always thought that there's an abundance of good women. With internet age and what's going on, I think that we're starting to realize that a lot of these women that are perceived as good aren't really good women. Like the older we get, we're finding out that they be doing some dirt and they be cheating or they be having 4 or 5 other dudes on the side, but it looks like that they good women. Do you think that is where some of this misogynistic backlash is coming from, that we were raised to think that you are to save the princess, but then you find out that the princess got side dudes? You know what I mean?
It almost feels like generational, just societal gaslighting. Because think about it. We've been growing up like we ain't shit. Men ain't shit.
We know we ain't
have
shit.
to prove that we ain't shit.
Right.
Right? We get to a point to where it's like, I mean, I've been able to, I talk, I listen, right? There's a lot of ain't shitness going on out here.
Yeah, on
right?
both sides.
On both sides.
Yeah.
But you always it always seems like it's always more on us, right? Women it's the accountability and admitting of wrongness is not prevalent in women.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So do you think that you are seeing some of the Kevin Samuel belittling women, humbling women because of that? Because we were always raised to think that men ain't shit, that men are dogs, and that women are good. But then when you get older and you start really seeing this shit, you like
I need to let you know that you really ain't shit.
It's not even just a gender thing. It's really a human thing to me.
Yeah.
That just humans in general just ain't shit, especially in our generation. So do you think that could be the reason why some of these men like go through all the like men are hurt.
Men are hurt.
They are mad at women, and I'm just but I'm starting to think like, you know what, that could maybe be it. That you thought that women were, again, generally, and I'm not trying to say that women are trash. I'm just trying to say that
generally
in relationships that they're loyal, that they don't be doing nothing, that blah blah blah. But that's not the case,
right? Especially when you hear about what these women want and what kind of shit they doing and why they're doing it and shit, and it just sounds so general, and so many women are backing it up, and it's like, how can you keep saying that you want this kind of lifestyle, can live this kind of lifestyle, but the women that you guys are talking about and emulating and wanting to be like do this shit? The type of nigga that you want does this type of shit. What, like, make it make sense?
Well, and it could be because I think a lot of the women got tired of getting dogged, so then they started dogging first, so that way, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, because I've seen women say, "Fuck it, I'ma just be like a nigga now."
Yeah,
I've seen that, but I think honestly the reason why it's all this backlash now is because women just started having too much audacity. I think that's really what it is, and that really triggers men. That women is out here having the audacity to do what the fuck they want to do, and and do the things that they do already.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think women are starting to have just a little bit too much audacity, and it really bothers men to see. Like, I feel like a lot of men, their whole life is dedicated to humbling women. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's a lot of, like, even with some of these women out here, like, bad bitches. I feel like it's certain dudes that will get with them just to humble them. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me bring you down. Let me bring you down a few notches. I just don't get it. Like,
well, yeah, and we all, and men got to be honest. We do the cheating, and when we do it, it's cool. But when we get cheated on, then it's like the end of the world. So we gotta
you know what? I think I know why. A lot of times, the women that men feel like they need to humble put themselves on such a high pedestal for normal shit. Or shit that we can't even put ourselves on pedestals for because we're supposed to be doing this shit. So, right?
So please give us an example so we can understand.
Okay.
So I can follow what you're saying.
So say this girl, right? She's not the cutest, right? She feels like she should be getting this and getting that. She says she works hella hard and shit, but she's still broke, right? But she's like, oh, I'm cute. Or like,
basically doing basic shit. Like, she got a job, she got a place, and she got a car.
Right, doing basic shit, right? Shit that we're supposed to have all fucking ready. But even then, there's women who the women who are like that aren't necessarily.
You're saying that the women, that they feel entitled to specific things, even though they're only doing basic stuff.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
And then it's like, they're like, okay, but you think you're doing all this, but you're still missing this out. You're not, you got all this. Okay, cool. Sure. You got this money, you got the cars, you got the house and shit like that. But nobody wants to be with you because you're not listening. I need to let you know that that's why nobody wants to fuck with you. You got this and this and this, but you're really not that cute. I need you to realize that shit. The type of motherfucker. No, because.
And I think that's the difference between men and women, because I don't feel the need to tell you that. If you don't have what I want, I'm not gonna fuck with you. I'm just gonna move the fuck on. I don't feel the need to humble you and let you know, hey, just to let you know you ain't shit. That's why you ain't never gonna have no man. That's why. Well, what?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think a lot of times that conversation comes up in the context of, which most of the time it doesn't, but it should only come in the context of is I can't find a man. If then it was like, okay, if you can't find a man, then men are going to tell you what men are looking for. Because if you are, I think, in that vein, a lot of times women will do all this. They will listen to other women on how to get men instead of asking a man, what do men in general want from a woman? And even then, the man that you want might want something more specific. So I would rather you just be yourself, but I think it's in the context of like getting a career, getting a degree. Okay, if you're doing that to position yourself in the marketplace, men don't really care how educated you are. We care that you are educated, but I don't care if you have a master's. I don't care if you have a bachelor's. I don't care if you have an associate. That doesn't really help me in the realm of what I would want in a partner. What I want in a partner is, can you cooperate? Can you do our values align? You know what I mean? If you're doing that for yourself, hey, I'm all good for it. I want you to improve yourself and do something that makes you happy. But if you're doing it because you're trying to position yourself to be married, then that's where the problem comes into lie. The problem that though is men be giving their opinion to women that didn't ask them, what do I want in a man? or I can't find a mate. It's just you just giving your damn opinion when nobody asked you.
Yeah, that's the issue.
That's where the problem I see. I'm like, you are going out of your way to belittle somebody that did not ask you for your opinion. And then that's why I didn't like the whole Kevin Samuel shit. I don't feel bad because those women are calling him to ask him for advice. So you know what you're going to get.
Right. They called to be humble.
They called him for his advice. So if he gives his advice, then why be mad at what he gives you? But if I'm just walking down the street, I'm not going to say, oh, you know, are you single or not? Yeah, I'm single. Well, then you should do better. Being married is not the ultimate goal. Some people ain't meant to be married.
Yeah.
And some people don't live their life just to be there for the opposite sex. So we can't, you know what I mean? Like our goal, like we can't project our goals or what we want on other people.
Exactly.
Some people may not have kids. I love kids. I want to have more kids. I can't put that on somebody else. Like that can't be, but we do that a lot. Like as soon as somebody gets married or as soon as somebody gets in a relationship, when's the marriage? When's the wedding? Okay. Then they get married. When's the kids? When you guys buying a house? It's like what? Like we have this checklist of wedding, house, kids. That doesn't have to look like that for everybody.
I mean, you said earlier, like your legacy. A legacy could be different for everybody.
Yeah.
Your idea of a legacy is different than what maybe my idea of what leaving a legacy means. So I don't know. I think again, like I said, people just. It's crazy because
stay
people
in your lane.
You stay in your lane. Like we always want to swerve into other people's lane or tell everybody what their life should look like based on our goals and our values and our perspective. And it ain't our place. It's
not your place.
You know, even if you're trying to date that person, and all that kind of shit don't align, move on. That don't mean they're not gonna find somebody that align with them.
Elon Musk doesn't even own a house. But we look up to those people and think that those are goals. So that fucks your whole shit up because your goal is buy a house. He doesn't own a house.
Well, him not owning the house is a completely different reason.
No, but what I'm saying is though you would think with somebody with that amount of money and that stature would own a house because that is what we look at as part of wealth or passing down generational wealth or status or whatever. And he doesn't, you know, those people like Elon, Kanye, they think outside of the box and they do what's best for them. Because they are the ones that are living their lives,
right? And
we literally live in the box and think we gonna become them,
right? And then what I'm saying is that we think that if we don't own a house, that we are unsuccessful. That him not owning a house totally goes against what our society teaches us. That you are a failure if you do not buy a house. You are a failure if you do not get married. You are a failure if you do not have kids.
I mean, I posted it on my Facebook. All the rules is fake. Do you? Like, literally, the people that do them and don't try to live by the rules, a lot of them are much more successful than the people that's putting themselves in the box.
Well, and find the people that want to go down the same journey and reach the same destination as you. That's really what it boils down to. Find your tribe, find your people, find your person that matches along with you.
And
sometimes you have to reevaluate where your destination is because sometimes your destination may be unrealistic. And that's fine. But everybody has to come down to that. Everybody has to come down to that conclusion. It's unrealistic for me to think that I'm going to be an NBA player. And I would expect the people close to me would tell me that. Like, hey, bro, you're not going to make the NBA. Okay, then I have to reevaluate what my goals are.
But stop letting the internet tell you that who you are, what you want is unattainable. Or that it's impossible because everything was impossible until somebody did it.
Sure.
The phone we looking at, everything, this board that we working on, these microphones, all of this was impossible until somebody did it. So I think people really need to look at it like that, you know, somebody might be telling you like, that'll make no sense. You never going to find that. I mean, who's to say? You know what I'm saying?
I just tell them good luck.
Based on, you know what I'm saying?
Well, but you may not. But I think we have to stop being scared of failure too.
That part.
I'm going to stick to my conviction. And if I fail, then I will learn. I would have still learned something along the way that I can apply to whatever my next endeavor is.
I literally just posted on my Instagram, your fear of looking stupid is holding you back. And that's people's biggest problem. Even in the relationships, people don't want to be vulnerable. People don't want to try new things because if I try it and I fail, everybody going to be looking at me and saying, damn, she failed. Like your fear of looking stupid is what is holding you back in every single facet of your life.
It's a spirit of fear.
So I should go ahead and start doing my massages and shit, right?
Do it.
Cool. I'm gonna
Do
start
what
doing
you
it.
mean doing massages?
Oh yeah, I got a massage bed. I do massages and shit.
You gonna give girls massages? Women
Yeah.
massages? Just make sure you have a claims form.
Consent form.
A consent form.
So it might be a bad idea to call it touch by me.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna get all the certificates and shit that I need to be all on it.
It's a good profession.
It's a good profession.
Yeah.
I be
Just
everybody.
get
All the girls tell
consent.
me. Yeah, all the girls
And
say.
get consent from the
and get
boyfriend
certified.
if she's in a relationship.
Why would I do that?
Nigga.
Why would I need his permission to touch her?
Nigga.
Nah, if
If
she
you want
already,
nigga, don't
it's
be
her
posting-
body.
Don't be posting no videos.
It's her body.
Cause niggas gonna be pulling up to your house, nigga.
Niggas already want to pull up to my house.
That's why I said get a consent form, nigga.
Look, I am public enemy number
And
one
don't
to
be
baby daddies.
and I'm depending on where you be touching them, man. Cause some of them be, Nah,
it's all.
I saw some of them wax videos. You seen them wax videos where they be like squirting and stuff? Cause, oh Lord Jesus. Okay. Now, speaking of orgasms and sex and touching and all that other stuff. Oh, internet wins again. Hold on. Where's my air horn? Come on, work this time. Work first time for me. Damn it. Always. Here you go. Internet wins again. Where we talk about the hottest internet topics. I don't know if this is the hottest topic that's going around, but it was definitely juicy. So my man, DJ Envy. Ooh, hold on. Here we go. So my man, DJ Envy from the Breakfast Club, him and his wife, Gloria. I think that's her name, Gloria.
Mm-hmm.
It's always the wife. You always just say just the wife. I think her name's Gloria. They have a little book run where they are promoting a book about real love and things like that. And on that tour or on that interview, I'm sorry, Gia Casey. Excuse me. I don't know why I said Gloria. I was close. G. So yeah, it was close. In a new book, and here's the book title. The book's titled "Real Life, Real Love: Life Lessons as Joy, Pain, and the Magic That Holds Us Together." That's a long ass book title. Where they basically talk about relationships. I'm sure that there's gonna go in depth about their long relationship. And in that, they had an interview where Gia revealed that she was faking orgasms for the first 10 years of their relationship, of their marriage. Excuse me. So I'm gonna go ahead and play that little clip.
Of the marriage.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and play that clip one time. That's a long time.
10 years.
Couldn't be me.
No.
She handled it herself later down the line.
She was doing it herself.
You feel me?
I mean, you get done, you just pop that bullet out, finish what you got to do.
That ain't it. Screenshot. Twitter.
I mean,
okay.
That rabbit was that one.
So many women can relate. Like, you want to reward that man for that work, and the only reward that you have to offer is an orgasm. But even if I didn't feel it, I would still be performative. So yes, I was faking it.
We got into like a argument, and then she was like, "Well, I don't be having an orgasm." She didn't say it in that. She speaks way more eloquent than I would have. And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "I don't." I'm like, "No, yes, you do. I hear it." Like, and then she was like, "No, I'm faking it." I'm like, "Every time?" And she was like, "Yeah." And then that just crushed me because I thought I was putting in work. Like I'm sitting there thinking I'm, Big Daddy Long Leg.
And I'm sure so many women.
Okay, so you guys get the gist of it.
mm-hmm.
So she was performative, faking the orgasm to appease Envy, and then Envy ended up cheating on her. So
because she was faking?
No.
Or he just cheated?
I'm just saying.
Oh, well, you said and then, so that's what.
I'm sorry.
threw me off.
What I mean is, despite of her appeasing him, he still stepped outside the marriage. Is what I'm saying. That's
okay, there you go.
Yeah, that was better. Thank you for helping me clean that up. So, we kind of touched on that one episode where we talked about sex, right? But we're gonna touch on it again because obviously it's an important conversation. So, I'm gonna start with photo B. Has anybody that you've been sexually admitted that they faked their orgasm?
So I don't know if it was I don't know if anybody admitted to faking an orgasm, but on the same ego hit, kind of same level, somebody told me that it felt predictable.
Oh shit.
Regular.
Oh shit.
And cookie cutter. Right? So what she said was, it seemed like she didn't feel like it was special, like as if it wasn't, catered to her, and it was just like, but the way I'm doing it now was actually based off of what you told me you liked. So I'm thinking what you were telling me, I'm going by off of what you like, which was working, which was good because we already had a communication. Before you was like, oh yeah, this is vanilla. Oh, what do you mean? All right, so I saw what it is that you liked. Cool. I implemented it into that shit. And it seemed like you liked it. And it was good. It was cool. Right? So then come to find out that. So how am I supposed to know this if you're not communicating with me? Damn. How am I supposed to know that I'm not doing what it is that you like if you're not saying anything? You shouldn't be going along fucking with me for this damn long and not tell me that I'm not doing it right for you.
Yeah, I agree.
Communication is serious and shit because, like, how you expect somebody to do better if they don't know they're not doing enough?
Damn.
So if I'm in my head, be like, I'm doing this. Why would I switch up what I'm already doing if my understanding is you're getting what you want?
Yeah.
Don't get mad at me that you fooled me into thinking this shit was good.
Damn.
Yeah. No, that's real.
Damn. Hold on, man. We gotta give you some. I gotta turn that up.
Because,
that's real. That's true.
Because sure, you're boosting my ego, but it's a placebo effect.
Like,
next
you go for yourself,
right?
Yeah.
You got me every time I'm doing good. Boom, there's a block on this ladder. Boom, another block. Boom, another block. Right? All of a sudden, yeah, that really wasn't there. Wiped all that shit out. I'm falling. I'm hurt. I'm on the ground. And the more that the blocks have been up, I'd be damned if after 10 years somebody tells me,
yeah,
I've been doing it wrong.
Damn.
It's gonna fuck with my ego.
If it shows
that hurts even more. If you just let me know ahead of time that, like, okay, this is what you want. Cool.
Yeah.
Now I know what it is that you like. So I start implementing some new shit. Which is actually pretty fun. Right? That's two things. Right? The first one was it's about to get real. Because she's the type to, like, she, head first.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Is this somebody we know?
Maybe.
Oh. Because there was a previous episode where this kind of starts to align.
Okay, so she never been featured on the show or anything like that.
Okay, so different. Okay, all right. So we're good.
This is,
all right,
no,
we're good.
No.
Okay.
So there was so I was like, you know what? I want you to treat your mouth like your pussy.
Well, hold on. Rewind that. Treat your mouth.
Act like your mouth is your pussy. Show me how you want me inside you.
Okay.
Show me how you want me inside you.
Okay.
Right?
Uh-huh.
That seems like very. Go ahead.
Very what?
No, let him finish.
Because, I mean, it's a good idea. Like you sound like you're doing it for her, but it sounds like you're doing it for you.
No. Yes, and it's a win-win.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win, right? Because
okay.
now I know how fast you want me to go. I know how deep you want me to go.
Okay.
I know the rhythm you want me to go at.
Okay.
Cool. I'm gonna use that.
Okay.
Right. So then there's another game, and it really works if you have like the color changing lights, right? Or something that can change the colors, right?
I got the TV. Okay.
Yeah. If you got the app or the remote, you can use that. Red, yellow, green. Right. Green is you're doing good, or go fast.
Okay.
I'm
following.
Green is go fast. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yellow, slow it down.
Oh, okay. I thought yellow would stay right there.
Nope.
Okay.
Yellow is slow it down.
Okay.
Red, we switch who's in control.
Okay.
So, for example, like if I'm on top, right? She has the control of the colors, right? She's saying green, cool. All right, she wants me to go fast. She wants me to go fast. She wants me to go slow, yellow. Switch it up. Boom. She says red. She gives it to me. I switch it. We may even switch positions, right? It works in almost every single position. Now you're learning how that person likes to go, and they're learning how you like to go. These games, there's some shit that you learn. You just got to be like, okay, what can we do to make things make sense?
And this is like actual, like the difference with that is like it's actual in action. Like, it's one thing to talk about things.
It's in the middle
but
of
it's different when it's in action. Like, you know what I'm saying? We talked about, I don't know. I get what he's saying.
Yeah. No, that's a fun way to figure out different. I mean, because you may be in a different mood. It may be where it's green light the whole time.
Right.
It may be that it's, switch. Yeah, I think that's a fun way to do it.
And I think too, like, that's a good point as far as like bringing up the games and stuff like that, because you got to think about it. Like, how do you really know what you like until you try certain things too? Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, you might know what you like, but there might be other things that you like or things that could spice it up or whatever. But you know what I mean? So it's like, if you get some of them games, you know what I'm saying, where it's try this, try that. Try some shit.
Yeah, I think to your point, women, you are doing yourself a disservice if you're not being honest about what's going on in the bedroom. I'm sorry, you just are. But please be more gentle than saying that our shit is regular. Like,
or waiting if like that situation I didn't like was that she waited till it was an argument to say something.
Yes, and that's what I was going to ask you. Did this shit come up in an argument?
No, it came up in a conversation. It was something was going on, like a text was going on and shit, and then the conversation came up, and the transparency and honesty came out.
That's how it should happen. Not in the middle of an argument.
It sounded like there was some spice to it, though.
No, there was no spice. It was just more on like it. It was just honest and it was real. It was like, it was something that somebody else said that was like, you know what, I agree.
I think what happens is when people tell the story, they tell it in how it felt versus
that's where I feel. I
like,
felt it in my chest.
Oh yeah. How it was said, it's still gonna hit the same.
How she said it, it wasn't that bad. It's not like it wasn't like attack or a dig. It hurt. It still hurt. But I learned from it.
And that's
you can appreciate it better because I said it.
And I did. I was like, you know what? You know what? I must step outside myself. I'm gonna stop letting my ego take a hit and shit, because for the most part at the time up to now, I thought that it was it. But that's because the communication that she had with me wasn't saying anything otherwise.
Facts.
Right?
Yeah.
So I can't put that on me. I'm like, damn, I'm not doing enough.
Yeah.
From my current mindset, from the details and the clues that I had at that particular moment, I was that nigga. Things changed. I had to step back from myself from taking the shit personal and be like, you know what? Okay, how can I improve?
Well, and men got to realize you might have been that nigga to one woman, but you may not be that nigga to the next woman. Everybody is different. You know what I mean? You have to learn your woman and vice versa, your man, because different things please different people. So you may have had, been in the 5-year relationship and you're used to doing it one way and have to change your shit up.
I think too, men should start kind of broaching the conversation a little bit too, because I know you're like 10 years is a long time not to say nothing, or, however much are women doing themselves a disservice. But at the end of the day, like I've said before, we have not been given that room to be like
open and free with your sexuality. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's kind of hard for us to have those conversations. And then also, like she said, because she was doing it, she wanted to reward her man. Like, we are always taught how to keep a man, how to keep a man, how to keep a man. And so, of course, in your mind, if I tell this man that he is not satisfying me sexually, that's the easiest way that you feel that the nigga's gonna do it moving, or you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like we sacrifice ourselves because of all of the requirements and the criteria that is drilled into us.
Yeah. But and her intention wasn't wrong. She was just trying to protect her husband.
Exactly.
But my question is I think my thing was faking for 10 years. That's a long ass time.
That's a decade.
And I don't know how many times a week that y'all was, having sex. I mean, but
that's let's just say in the 5th grade.
Let's just say you're faking 2 times a week.
But what you have to realize is some women get used to not having orgasms.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying for her. But what I'm trying to get to is
there's some women that have never had an orgasm before.
What if it's because they don't know they don't communicate how to do it because they don't know how to do it.
Right. But
somewhere again, that's why I said for women it's different. So some women just have accepted the fact that
they're not going to have an orgasm. I understand.
That's what I mean.
See, but my question is too is, as your wife, did you ever ask her what does she like?
That's why I said men got to start asking the question too.
Because like for men, I don't know, and maybe I'm just in a different circle. Most of the men that I know take pride in pleasing their woman. I do. So that's a question for me all the time. What do you like? What feels good? What doesn't feel good? Do you want to try anything different? And to your point, a lot of those questions don't really get answered because most women don't feel comfortable expressing themselves in a sexual way because it's always been keep yourself, pure. Don't whatever the whole chastity belt,
everything around sex was shame.
Yeah, and just to be honest, even in marriage, then it's like same thing I was saying last episode about creating habits and then turning on the switch. You can't. It's hard to do that, especially when in our society that is shamed. But we also have to realize that we have to stop demonizing sex and start. If you are in a more conservative household, sex is not bad. It is designed for marriage. And I think that's the message that it needs to be instead of no sex, no sex, no sex, no sex, no sex. Don't do nothing, don't do nothing, no. No. Do you have questions? If you have questions, we'll answer the questions. My as a parent, like with my kids, it's my goal for you is for you to enjoy sex with your husband or with your wife. That will be that's my design. That's what our belief says. But I'm not going to lie to you and say sex is bad because It's not. Because, see, I think the problem happens is when people experiment with sex and it feels good, then they were like, oh, damn, they were trying to hide this shit from me the whole damn time. Mm-hmm. It makes me feel good. And then you start doing this shit in secret. You start doing the masturbating or the pornography, and that's what we were talking before. And then you start creating these habits that you go to doing these things in secret or behind closed doors, and you're dealing with this stuff. And most of the time, to be really honest, most people go to that as an escape. Like when I'm stressed out, when I'm depressed, when I feel like I had a bad day, then you go to something that's going to boost your dopamine, and sex does that. So, and then we never sit down and really figure out, okay, what is my relationship with sex? Is it because I actually enjoy it, or like we were talking about off air, is it just because I'm trying to escape my reality and sex just so happens to boost my dopamine the most? Mm-hmm. That's a real question that a lot of people got to start asking. Same thing with pornography. My relationship with pornography, is it healthy? More than likely, probably not. Because again, now you're detaching yourself from the reality of what sex actually is, and then you try to project what you saw on screen on your partner instead of actually talking to your partner about what it is they like. You looking at porn stars thinking that all women like the shit that they be doing.
Right.
Not knowing that it's a production. Like,
and it's usually fake.
Yeah, like you looking at that shit like it's real. Like when you watch WWE, is it the pain real? Is the hurt real? Yeah, but it's scripted. Same way that sex is scripted. Like, nigga, your wife is not gonna come in and you got a damn belt trying to fix the damn pipes, talking about I'm gonna fix your pipe. Like we think that shit's gonna happen. It's like, no, that's not real sex. That is a scripted enactment of what it is to sensationalize sex, and real sex does not look like that. I mean, it can if that's what you want it to look like, but and then you get, and I don't know. We talked about this in depth about the expectations of sex, and I think a lot of men look at sex as my wife is my personal sex slave, basically, and it's like, no, like our job should be to please your wife, because we saw the stats, we saw how many women are not satisfied in the bedroom, and
then too, like when I think when you think fake orgasm, like I think men automatically think the sex is bad. And I think that's the connotation of she faked the orgasm, so the sex is bad. And it was asking a women's sexuality group that I'm in, for the women who do not have orgasms from penetration, why do you still do it?
They still like it. Because
it still feels good. And that's what a lot of the women said. It's not that actual penetration feels bad. I just don't orgasm from penetration.
Okay, so then in what instance would you fake an orgasm? Because as a man, what I'm thinking is you want it to stop. Or that you're tired and you're done at that point in time, so you fake it to end whatever it is. Or, I mean, I guess it could be that...
Because it's the expectation. That's what you're not understanding. It's the expectation. Like a man, if, like you said, men want to please their woman, they're going to keep going. They're going to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Bruh, like you prolonging this, like, go ahead. Like, I'm not going to... But again, if you have not communicated to your partner that you do not orgasm from penetration, they're going to continue to,
no matter how long it goes, I'm not going to get there.
They're gonna feel like they have to I got to figure this out. It's something with me. It's not you. And so that's what a lot of the women were saying was like, I don't orgasm from penetration, but it still feels great. And I think for men, I mean, the sex up until your orgasm, does it feel good?
Yeah.
The part before, it feels good, right? You wouldn't be doing that part. You know what I mean? So that's what I think men need to kind of understand too, is when they hear faking orgasm, that mean everything was bad.
No, and I'm not saying that we do. I'm just saying what other reasons. Like, we're just trying to figure out the reasons for it. Obviously, yes, to boost our ego and to protect us. Sure, I totally get that. But obviously, we want it to be enjoyable for you too. And the reason why our ego is boosted is because we got you there.
Right.
So for us to find out that you faked it the whole time, that again, like he's saying, that kills all of my confidence, all of my whatever that I built up until that point, and it doesn't do you any justice either.
But would you still want to sleep with a woman, like you said, if your ego is getting her there? Would you still want to sleep with a woman that was honest about the fact that she does not orgasm from penetration?
Yes,
I would. However, I'm in my head like a motherfucker now.
You see what I'm saying? So again, it's better. You're better off not saying anything.
See, but I would be in my
in
my head if you told me for the last 10 years that you faked it.
Right.
That too. But again, like I said, she shouldn't have did that.
But like I said, well, how I did, I was in my head like a motherfucker. And I knew when I was going to be in that motherfucker next time, I was going to be in my head. So I was like, you know what? Let me look at it in a different light. So if I didn't look at it like, okay, let me approach this differently, I probably been in my head a lot. And I actually probably would. I damn near didn't even want to at that point. I was like,
I'm
different.
I don't want to fuck.
I don't want to fuck. It's like, and then it's kind of like, it's not there for some women. It ain't really much you could do. I just don't. You know what I mean? And we could still try, like, you know, I'm sure try different things. But at the end of the day, if that's your only end goal and you don't feel like you can enjoy sex with me unless I get there or unless you're able to get me there, then that leaves me assed out.
It makes me, okay, so it's not just the whole faking the orgasm. When you say you faking an orgasm, we going to assume that you faked from the beginning to the end.
And that's what I was saying. That's why I said men get in their head that the
whole
whole sex is bad.
Exactly. So it's not corrected that it's just that it just doesn't get there like that. It's not correct. Like, I enjoyed it, right? Okay, well, shit, you might have been faking what you just saying that you enjoyed it and
like
shit. We don't know that's true.
That post, I learned a lot. Because honestly, that was a good question. I was like, for real, like, because I wouldn't just be out here busting it open if I'm not getting nothing out of it. But that makes a lot of sense when you really think about it. Because it's like when men have sex, if you think about it for yourself, all of the sex feels good, not just the orgasm.
See, but but we're more simple.
We are.
It doesn't take as much.
It don't.
No, I get that, but I'm just saying, if you want to say, why does a woman still have penetrative sex if she knows she's not going to orgasm? That's why, because like you said, the whole thing feel good, not just the orgasm.
See, but I think on that topic, if I was told that, with that, yes, it would definitely be an ego hit. Excuse me. But the next thought would be, okay, well, let me figure it out. Like, what? Okay, so then if that does not get you there, then what does?
A lot of times, that's the issue with men too, because a lot of times for women, majority of women, they need clitoral stimulation as well. And then when you start bringing in
them toys and the rolls,
a lot of men don't want to do that either.
It ain't got to be the toys. I mean, there's ways to.
There's ways, but
there's ways.
It's about.
But when it comes down to that, a lot of men don't want to do that. Trust me.
No. We all heard what Nick Cannon said.
I be reading this shit. I'm just like, what?
We all heard what Nick Cannon said.
And he knows you've already told him that that's what you need, and he's still not willing to do it. Like, that's crazy to me. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Again, it's about finding the right partner. And for me, sex is important. So if I was one of those women that was with somebody that I said, this is what I need, and they not willing to do it, I wouldn't be married for 10 years not having no damn orgasm. That's just not.
Well,
I don't give a damn.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask, but did she say that she did? But she said no. She said every time. So that means every time.
Absolutely not. She said
yes,
the
she
whole
did.
10
She said 10 years. That's a decade.
10 years. And I'm like, girl, like, you might have blew his ego, but to me, I'm looking at you like, what? I just cannot. I would not do that. I would have been said something. No, I would be interested to read some more about that in their book. I'm
sure there's more answer because I'm sure that there's a way to get to it. And I think on the Breakfast Club, Envy did go a little into more detail.
Okay.
And he said that he basically at the end of it that he got it right. At least that's what the story he's telling.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, because like I said, I asked, I learned, I improved.
Yeah. Period.
Yeah, I mean, but it's because you don't know what you don't know. Like exactly. I think at the beginning of it, like the first time I had said, I know it wasn't the best because niggas the first time, you know, and I had to find out what the clip was. I had to, you know what I'm saying, find out how to stimulate it, do all that. You know what I'm saying?
Pull the shit back to, you gotta do that.
So when I saw that video when niggas didn't even know what it was at, I'm like, I can see where
Now you see why I said hookup culture don't really benefit us.
But that's what I'm saying.
Because it's a risk every time the nigga gonna know what he's doing.
But even for men, there are more sensitive parts on us than not. There's ways. There's different.
But overall, y'all still gonna get
we should.
There are times
because I think most time if men know that you're not hitting the correct spot, we'll tell you, or we'll move you where you need to be. I've been in a situation where.
Have y'all ever had sex and not been able to get there with the person that you was having sex with?
Yeah, I last long.
I had to give directions.
I
You know, I'm gonna ask you this: have you ever faked an orgasm?
No,
I have.
I just let them know I didn't finish.
I faked.
If you have a condom, it's easy.
Oh, it's for sure easy with the condom.
It's easy.
I had to go.
Right.
Like, she was doing too much. And she talked up a whole bunch of game, and she was just sloppy drunk, and I was like, yo, this ain't it. She basically told me, like, you ain't leaving until you bust. I'm like, all right.
I think, and sometimes that's the case. Like, you wanted to end, so you be like, I'm gonna fake. But again, that's if, in that situation, that's usually, again, hookup culture. For me, mostly hookup culture where you, with somebody, like you said, that ain't doing it right. Or you just get turned off by something and you be like, I don't want to do this no more. Let's speed this on up.
Just something just happens. Just like, you know what? My mind is no longer here.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
hit it with a nah, it's good, it's cool. I don't fake it. If I don't, I just don't.
Well, I mean, it was one time. I obviously in most cases you're not going to do that. I just had to get that. I had to get out of there.
Because
I just be jealous of dudes because I'm like, y'all ain't got to do nothing to get yours.
No, but it's funny though. Women have an ego too when it comes to sex, because there's been multiple times where I didn't finish and they thought something was wrong with their pussy, and I'm like, I just last long, especially with condoms, especially the first time I last.
Right.
There's a high chance that I am not going to finish. It ain't got shit to do with you.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
You see what I'm saying?
It's just
exactly. So he understands.
Right, I understand.
It wasn't bad. It was
right.
You can do this again another time.
Right, and it's me. It's like most of the time I'm not here to get mine anyway. For the most part, I'm here to. This is my calling card. Shawty, look.
No.
Call me that.
No.
You go because I know.
If I'm starting, we finishing.
But if you can't, you just can't.
Right.
Well, hold on.
I know where I'm at.
But you may not with a condom though, right? Mm-hmm. There's other ways.
That's
what I'm saying. There's other ways.
If they want to go that route.
Well, but if you saying that your ego was tied to whether I came or not, well then you better get to work.
You better get to work. But it's just sex in the hookup culture is hella interesting shit, and you can actually really tell. You can tell how much men give a fuck about what women want and shit, especially when you see the comments of like, "Oh, I hate it when she rides me this way. That only works for her. That only feels good for her." I'd be like, so,
right?
If it feels good to her.
Well,
if it hurts you, I'm not saying it hurts otherwise. I'm just saying like it's not as stimulating as if I'm in control, stroking it the right way, right? Or if she's riding and shit. But they're talking about the whole like scooting the chair in and shit. If she likes it, she likes that.
I want you to come first anyway.
So that way I don't feel bad when I'm done.
Yes, exactly.
So you saying but you saying when women ride and they do like the scoot and they not.
Yeah, I think that's
a lot of women do that because that it hits a certain spot.
And that's fine with me.
Work with that shit.
But niggas be clowning, so it's like I ain't gonna say it. Niggas will clown you if you start suing.
See, but niggas don't look. You don't look at the bigger picture. If she's doing that and you don't, it's not pleasurable to you. nigga, it's adding on to your
And
ring
then also
time.
when they do that, it puts friction. Like if they're scooting a chair, it honestly on the inside it hits a certain spot.
And
But then
I'm cool
also
with
it
that.
puts friction on the clit as well.
And that's fine. So for me, my ultimate goal is for you to be pleased anyway. And then, like I said, if you are looking at it from an egotistical standpoint, if it's not pleasurable to you, then that means you're gonna just last longer. Right? Am I right?
Keep that stroke game. Keep that stroke
And
count.
we get off of women having multiple orgasms, don't we?
We win.
So I don't understand what the problem is.
Yeah,
it's a
Not
win.
but not unless you're watching pornos where you're seeing porn riding and you're like, I want you to ride it like that.
Right.
But again, then you're focusing on your pleasure.
I mean, you could do both.
You can because like look,
Get your little scoot on and then
Bounce,
get your
bounce.
porn star on.
Older you get, man, them knees don't be working.
It don't.
That's
be
why.
working.
That's why you,
engine
better
light
get,
come on
you better
quick.
get that. You better get that little chair. The little
Yes.
what's it called?
Yes, because them knees is not the
You
same.
know what I'm saying? Yeah, the little bouncy bench.
The bouncy bench.
No, for real. Again, like you said, communication though, just communication. I like photo bees, suggestions, and the games and stuff like that because I think it takes a lot of the awkwardness out of it, and it does kind of open it up to different stuff. You know,
It does because it's a lot easier. Sometimes it's hard to explain what you like.
What you mean, yeah.
Instead, just let me use this
Show
as
me.
an example. That's what I said. The
Actions
head
speak louder
works
than words.
great. Doing the head shit works great. Doing the colors, that's great.
His inbox finna be jumping.
Facts.
After this episode, his inbox finna be jumping.
That's hella funny.
They go like, so about them lights.
what lights you use?
Hey, we about to start an Amazon the little sponsorship shit. We
feel
gonna
me?
put the link to the
Hey,
lights in the damn
You
video.
feel me? I'm
And the
saying-
chair.
I'm saying.
Yes, we about to become a
'cause
partner with Amazon.
Look,
For sure.
I'm screaming.
That's hella funny. All right, I think that was a good conversation.
It
So we're
was.
going to go ahead and wrap this up. So before we end the podcast, I'm going to start a new segment. It's called Hip-Hop Affirmations.
Ooh.
We're going to just read these affirmations. I did not realize how much hip-hop lyrics become affirmations.
They do.
Yeah. So we're gonna read an affirmation from Dr. Juvenile. All right.
this nigga
Ha.
said, Dr. Juvenile.
You a paper chaser. You got your block on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Remaining a G until the moment you expire. You know what it is to make nothing out of something. You handle your biz and don't be crying or suffering.
That's my
Affirmations.
favorite affirmation.
You
That and Ice Cube, you could do it, put your back into it.
We gonna do that next show, next episode. I'll let Steph do the affirmation next show. Remember, you a paper chaser. Go ahead and get your money this week. We appreciate y'all listening. Like, subscribe, follow, all that jazz. Help us with the algorithm. We love y'all. Make sure y'all have that sex conversation.
Please
have that conversation.
And we out.
Yeah.